The MX Vice Show.
MXGP is back. Welcome to episode 41 of the MX5 Show podcast, which comes to you from Latvia, kind of. Lewis is in Latvia. I'm in studio with Rob from Jukebox Beats. There is a ton to talk about this week, and we are live too. The archive of the full show will still be available tomorrow on iTunes, Spotify, and all podcast streaming platforms. The MX5 Show is brought to you by Fly Racing, Liat, Planet Motor Holidays, Yoko, Prox, Technical Touch, Hinson, KYB, 7, Even Strokes, Kawasaki UK, and Talon Engineering. Anything that you can do to support the companies that support us would be much appreciated. As you know, last week Fly Racing came on as a new sponsor of the show. And you may have noticed they are the title sponsor of the MX Vice post-race podcast as well. We are stoked to have the company as passionate about racing as Fly on board at MX Vice. So hopefully you listened to Lewis's post-race podcast from Sunday night and you heard Fly Racing on there. Fly recently launched their 2021 line. Visit flyracing.com to see. And their all-new Formula helmet is making waves across the world as well. Fly Racing has redefined expectations in safety and performance with the Formula helmet. Tested on the most advanced equipment in the world, the Formula's helmet's overall performance is best in class in both high-velocity crashes as well as rotational and low-speed impacts. Featuring rayon technology, cone-head EPS, and a 12K carbon shell, the Formula's Advanced Impact System, AIS, introduced a new approach to both protection and weight reduction. Weighing only 1,290 grams, we believe the Formula to be the perfect combination of industry's leading innovation and ultra-lightweight design. Simply put, the Formula helmet changed the game. Remember, flyracing.com is the place to go to see more from the guys there. On to the show. Lewis Phillips.
Me, hi.
How are you coping over in Latvia?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm very far away from you, which is nice. Yeah, I'm here. I'm happy, as you can tell.
Well, it's nice to see you happy or hear you happy. I'm actually got a little picture of you on the seat in front of me just so I can see your face.
Yeah, I can see. I just pulled up the video because obviously I'm not there and I didn't know what it looked like. And you just look like a sad little man, really.
Wow.
Wait, what? You literally, like, my video is just you sat there.
Well, I'm lonely, aren't I?
Todd.
Absolutely, just a complete loner. So if you didn't know, I'm obviously not at the GP. I'm not going to be going to the GPs this year, probably just a couple. But obviously Lewis, Sean and Wes, they're there because they're obviously doing multiple videos. And what do you actually do, Lewis? You walk around?
You have no idea, do you?
No, you kind of do a couple of interviews.
Yeah, it's best that you don't know what I get up to, because if you found out, you'd probably feel the need to give me a pay rise. So.
Yeah, never going to happen. So one thing I'm quite curious about, because obviously we haven't spoke much. It's been a pretty manic few days for both of us. What was it like trying to get into, obviously, they're going through the whole process of going on to the flights and all the COVID measures and stuff. What was that like?
Well, last week on the podcast, I mentioned that I had to get my corona test and that I was probably going to fail. Proud and honoured to announce that I passed with flying colours. It was a DIY test, which I wasn't too happy about. That pissed me off quite a lot.
Right.
Yeah, because obviously everything's better in America, even COVID tests apparently, because you pull up into a drive-through and they do it for you. In England, you pull up to a drive-through, they give you a swab, tell you to park up and do it yourself, which it's just the English way, really, isn't it? But I passed that with flying colours, and then I had to wait for the, I think I mentioned it last week about the red, yellow, white country list for Latvia.
Yeah. So if people don't know, Lewis, we have like a communication system called Slack, what we use. And I did actually think that we'd be sending some type of response unit to Lewis because he got himself in quite a state. Would that be right, Lewis? Hello?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I lost you for a second there. What was that?
So basically, I was saying that on our communication system, which is Slack, we were actually really worried about you last week because it looked like at one point we were going to have to send a rescue team in because I actually thought you were going to have a stroke or a heart attack.
Well, no, there was just a lot of stress because, like, while we were flying on Friday midday, had England been marked as a yellow or red country, I would have had to land and then immediately book myself into a lab for a COVID test. And I don't know how to do that in Latvia, do I? And then I would have had to self-quarantine for a day, and that would have meant I missed the EMX races, and I didn't want to do that. So it was all very stressful. But the good thing is, England stayed white by 0.3. So that was also... Everything kind of went my way, I'm not going to lie. I got lucky because everyone else had to do a lot more than we did, pretty much.
So was it right that the guys who came in from Belgium had to quarantine for a day?
No, people who had been in Spain, Belgium, the Netherlands, like basically every country that an MXGP rider is going to have visited in the last 14 days was a red or yellow. So they all had to go to a lab. It was all over everyone's Instagram stories, but they've all got to do like multiple COVID tests while they're here.
Okay.
But because England's a white country, I don't have to do that until the list gets updated every Friday. So if on Friday they mark England as red or yellow, which is probably going to happen because we're like, I see that happening, then I will have to go through a lot of hoops for the Sunday race, like more tests. I think I might have to isolate for a day, maybe. I don't really know. And yeah, but for now, I'm good. I made it to the race. I was all right. All is good. All is good.
Okay. And what about actually once you got to the event? What was the COVID restrictions there? Because obviously I've seen pictures.
Actually, before I get to that, we'll talk about Latvia itself.
Okay.
Because obviously before I went to the track, I went into Riga, capital city of Latvia. I guess can't imagine they've got another city worthy of that. And it's almost as if they've not got the news here and don't know what COVID is.
Really? What's going on?
Well, as soon as we got here, we were starving, so we went into McDonald's.
Of course you did.
And everyone was sat in there, sat down, like everyone, like there wasn't like everyone. It was just normal life, really. But so I was shocked by this. But it turns out that apparently Latvia is like ridiculously COVID-free, or like pretty close to it.
Okay.
And that's why they're so strict with people coming in with the whole red yellow countries thing, because they don't want us to or other people to screw it up. I guess no one really comes to Latvia, do they? So they're going to stay COVID free.
Brilliant. Have you got any more nice things to say about Latvia at all?
I like Latvia. I'm on the tourism board. Like, listen to every other podcast. I love it here.
Okay.
I've actually told everyone how great it is to be in Latvia for a week. But
how's the drive going to the track each day?
That 50-minute drive can fuck off. Yep, that's shit. Because they love their speed. They love their speed cameras here as well. And as you know, on last week's podcast, I mentioned that I'd watched Formula One. So that's on my mind. Obviously, now I'm a Formula One super fan. I'm driving to the track, and I just want pure speed. But the speed limits do not allow that. And they love a speed camera here. Like, they've got 2 speed cameras within a minute of each other, but at different speed limits. So it's like just designed to make you fail.
I remember, I think it was about 2 years ago, there must have been, 10 different riders all got caught speeding.
Well, one year we were driving to the track and we drove past Tommy, who had been pulled over by the police. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if we've seen it, I don't know if it was Bobryshev as well, but it was a couple of people. That was quite funny.
Yeah, it's because it's just straight road in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, like, it's fine. No one's out there.
One thing I should say is the first half of the MX Vice show is brought to you by Talon Engineering, the industry leaders in aftermarket wheels and sprockets. Teams like Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna, Factory Racing in the USA, Rocky Mountain ATV, KTM, Built Base Honda, and more put their trust in the same wheels that you can get your hands on. Get more Talon information at talon-eng.com. So, one thing I'm interested in, so reduced media center by the looks of it. Less media there.
Yep.
What was it? The usual people or usual crowd? Yeah,
it's just the people who have got a proper job to do. No Facebook photographers and all of that malarkey.
Oh God.
Well, it's true.
Okay. And
we're touching that and then immediately backing away. Okay, good to see.
Well, one thing I was going to say was so obviously the usual crowd, but what about the pits? Were the pits completely closed off to fans?
Yeah, well, so they've got fans here, and because Latvia is COVID-free, the fans don't have to wear masks or anything, but we do. So anyone who's come with MXGP has to wear masks non-stop all the time.
Right.
And we're kept completely separate to fans who don't have to wear masks because they don't have to because they live in Latvia and it's amazing here, apparently.
Ah, cool.
So, yeah, the pits is completely cut off, which is quite nice. Like, you can walk around quite freely. And to be honest, it wasn't as strange as I thought it would be because obviously I was basing my expectations off of Supercross because obviously everyone heard lots about that. And in Supercross, you weren't allowed to even stop to talk to someone at a team. But you can still talk to people in teams here and riders if you maintain your distance and keep masks on and stuff. You can't go into warnings and stuff, but you can do things. Like, don't get me wrong, like doing post-race podcasts a million times harder than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I got 6 on Sunday because it was like just horrifically hard.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as you would think. It's not like full-on lockdown. Don't even look in anyone's direction. It's not like that.
Because it was weird. We had a press release last week, wasn't it, from Kawasaki, basically saying if you want an appointment with anybody, if you want to interview with anybody, you have to make an appointment. So I took it that it was going to be very, very strict.
Well, it's just different strokes for different folks, isn't it? Like Kawasaki felt the need to keep everyone safe like that, and more power to them. Other teams. To be fair, all of the factory teams are probably the strictest, and as you would imagine, the smaller teams, not so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is kind of the way it was always going to go in it, because the factory teams have the most to lose and the most money on the line and all of that stuff.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, the racing. What was the track looked particularly hard. I've seen Latvia, obviously the Kegums track. I've been there a few times, and it's been rough. But I would say it's probably the roughest I think has ever been. Am I right?
I don't know about the roughest it's been, but every rider I spoke to said it was definitely the sketchiest it's been.
Okay.
So take of that what you will.
So the most.
I think. Well, I said it last week. People who haven't been to Kegums will just kind of gloss over the series a bit. We'll see Kegums listed as a fan track, and then immediately say, oh, okay, Lommel Valkenswaard level. It's not that at all. It's got a hard base. Therefore, we have square edge bumps. It's quite choppy, therefore leading to sketchiness. And I think because we're here in August, normally we're here in June, sometimes May, never July, let alone August. The ground is even harder, the base is even harder, and that's leading to more of the choppiness, therefore sketchiness.
Okay, I did listen to a couple of post-race podcasts. I hope you sat down for that one.
Did you actually? The first time ever?
I know. I thought I'd
Did you like my fly racing intro?
It was very good. How many attempts?
Thank you. 4.
That's not bad. Not bad. Very good.
No, I kept running out of breath. Like,
what, were you passing out as you done the intro?
Yeah, I kept gasping for air halfway through, so I had to keep going again.
Well, one of the things which obviously it's difficult trying to watch on TV when you've been to GPs, you can obviously you're up close, personal with with the action. You can see what the track's like, you can see what the ruts are like, and obviously TV doesn't give it too much justice. But there was one which I think Jeremy Sewer kind of talked about was when he came over to jump and basically just stopped dead, and it seemed that there was a transition between like really hard parts and really soft parts. And then the faces of the jumps were deep ruts.
Oh, no. We have your first mistake of the show.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We should have I need a button so that every time you make a mistake, it goes like, pow.
Do we want to bring up Coldenhoff yet, or do you want to, as we're talking about mistakes?
I'm ready for that.
Are
but
you?
Anyway, Sewer was talking about the mistake, which I'm pretty sure they showed on TV, where he overjumped one of the singles.
That's right, yeah.
And landed in the
soft stuff.
The ground being soft.
Okay. I thought it was, I thought when he overjumped, he hit the soft part of the run up to the jump.
Yeah, but kind of because like not because.
So technically, I'm not wrong.
The track. No,
technically,
you are wrong because
no. Technically, I'm not wrong.
You're being one of those journalists who twists words to fit the story that you want to tell.
Isn't that being a journalist?
No, that's being a dick.
Okay, so tell me more of your version.
Wait, on what? Coldenhoff?
No, we're not going to Coldenhoff yet. I've got we need a whole section for that. No, is it?
I'm ready. I've got notes on Coldenhoff.
Of course you have. This is why no work gets done, because you just basically spent half a day trying to prove me wrong. That is literally it in a nutshell. I'm so stressed with work. I'm so stressed with work. But I've just spent the last 5 hours proving James wrong.
My lawyer has instructed me not to speak about Coldenhoff until an official statement is released on my behalf.
Right, okay.
Because right now, I reckon I have had probably 50 to 60 messages.
What of you're
People
wrong?
were very excited about Coldenhoff winning and kind of proving me wrong.
Yeah, I was definitely on that bus driving it, and I beat the horn a few times. Quite a few people got on at the first stop.
But as you'll find out, maybe you didn't prove me wrong.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get there in a minute. I'm more interested in kind of obviously, like I said, listen to the post race podcasts. I listened to what Jeremy said. I listened to what Calvin said. It's interesting what they said about the track, and I seen that both riders.
Like Jeremy saying? Did you like Jeremy saying he was Team Lewis as opposed to Team Vlanderen?
Yes, I did. I did hear that. Yeah.
Thank you.
The fact that you're making riders now say Team Lewis is just.
Thank you.
It's just very wrong. Very wrong.
I was just pitching riders against each other, just all here for the drama.
But it was interesting that both of them think different things about how the track's going to be on Wednesday.
Well, it was kind of everyone thought one thing and Vlanderen thought another. And Vlanderen listens to his show, so he was very much alone in his feeling that the track was going to get softer as the days progress. But I kind of I was surprised more people didn't agree with him, because his theory was that the more it gets ridden on and the more the back wheel was spinning on that hard base, it's going to dig away at that base and unearth more soft stuff, which actually makes complete sense. But I guess it depends what you think is under that hard base. It could be more hardness or more soft stuff. But I think it's just going to get choppier, rougher, sketchier, as you'd expect. No different to racing 7 rounds in Salt Lake. That dirt was just getting baked and baked and baked and baked. I mean, the mudder helped, but we're not going to get a mudder here. It's basically 28 degrees every single day. So,
okay. Has there been any? Have you spoke to any about what changes are going to be at the track, or is it going to be the same track?
It's going to be the same track. We were at Kegham's the entire time we're here, James.
You're such a dick. You know what I meant. You're just trying to be funny. Okay. Ha ha, Lewis. The comedy club is strong.
As far as I can tell, there won't be many changes for tomorrow, but in the words of David Luongo, they have plans for the next Saturday, Sunday, being this coming weekend, to change 2 or 3 turns.
Joker lane?
To change the lines a little bit and open it up a bit. Because I'll tell you what, one thing, I've never seen Kegham's as tough to pass on as it was on Sunday.
Okay. Why do you think?
Build on that?
Yeah. What were the reasons? Was it because obviously the track wasn't tight? It was just the way that they've positioned the.
I'd imagine it had something to do with it being a bit harder than normal and a bit more sketchy in the name of the riders. Like, obviously, if we come here in May, June, there's probably more rain in the lead up to the race, and it is a bit softer, therefore meaning more lines get opened up. But I can't remember who it was. But one rider did say that they could have done with watering it more on Saturday. So
yeah, I think that was I think Vlanderen said that.
Do you want to talk about Vlanderen now or later?
Talk about it now. I'm not just saying this because there's potentially he's listening to it, but I think I said last week he was going to do well.
I get very excited when something different happens, and that was it, because genuinely, Paul Lamb was holding him up like clear for all to see. You could not even have ever seen a motocross race in your life and been like, wow, that number 10 is much faster than the other guy. Like, if he gets a top 5 start, he could, I'm not saying he's going to battle for a podium yet or anything like that, but he could make enough of a splash to make people suddenly start mentioning him more when talking about the battle at the front and that top 10 group, I guess you could say. Like, the transformation was night and day compared to the first couple of rounds.
That's no, from when I was watching the weekend, just looked really, really good. Just looked like a different rider. And I know that he mentioned 2 kind of changes that's happened. And I think one's a trainer, isn't it? And another one's a suspension. The switch over to one of our show sponsors, KYB Technical Touch.
Yeah, you see the difference for Technical Touch with Mate of Landering. Imagine doing that to yourself.
That'd just be mind-blowing. Yeah, I've definitely got to get my my suspension sorted. It's definitely holding me back now. So
okay. Well, I'm glad you've mentioned that, because obviously the first GP in 5 months, I was hoping we were going to talk about your riding. So
yeah, I'm actually riding again Thursday. So I'm going to be taking the day off, test some products, and obviously, but unfortunately, the bike's not going to be ready in time for obviously getting a suspension set up. So I'm going to have to just go with it, not be a rider who moans about, setup and stuff like that. Just going to get off after just get in that junior class and try and smash out 20 minutes of laps. So just going for fun, just for fun. No one's taking it serious.
It's interesting that Vlandering's hired Bracker as a trainer, on the bike trainer, I guess. I don't think he's working with him on the physical side, but as kind of a riding coach type guy, because I almost said this in the interview, but I felt like it was harsh. Vlandering's a much better rider than Bracker ever was.
But yeah,
but that happens a lot.
That's a shit thing to say. And the reason why I say that's a shit thing to say is because that's like saying you're shit on a motocross bike, so how are you good at as a journalist? But the fact of the matter is... That's a fair
comment, James. I take that on the chin.
But the fact of the matter is, when you look at football managers, they might not have been the greatest players, but they're arguably the greatest managers. So
yeah, but this is what I'm saying.
But that's the whole idea with coaches. They can see stuff.
That's what I was going. If you let me continue, I was going to say, but that seems to happen a lot, and I guess it's just rider IQ. If you've been out there, like not necessarily, like I feel like no matter if you're that good or not, you can see things, you can see what you're meant to do, but still not hit that level because your talent doesn't let you. But that doesn't mean you don't know what you've got to do. Like I like my brain knows how to be a much better rider than I actually am. Like when I was riding around the track, I could tell my brain was going, yeah, you need to be in that right over there, but my talent was going, no, we can't get in that. We're going to stick here. So like, I guess that's what it comes down to, isn't it? It's not that strange, but just
yeah, I think.
But people might not know who Bracker is, so I would say his first name, but I will butcher it. So.
Yeah, I would too. The one thing which
Heron Bracker.
I don't know. I think you should probably stop. You're going to start doing bird noises next, aren't you? The one thing I would say is it's that ability to interpret what they can see as well to make the rider understand. That's one of the key, the key things. It's okay, kind of knowing how to what you should change, but it's actually kind of interpreting that and giving the rider instructions to change.
Yeah, and the fact that Bracker's been out there gives Landering the trust, I guess, where when he says something, you're like, okay, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you see it time and time again with coaches and riders, and you're kind of like thinking, well, why would a rider that good be working with a coach kind of like that? And it is because, and the other thing as well is people relate to people. So if there are certain people who can become a mentor or a guide, which it just fits, and you listen and it works. So. Yeah, I was really impressed with, I think, and a lot of people were, from what I was reading online, a lot of people were very impressed with Vlandering's performance the weekend, and especially I think it was great to see who had done their homework and worked on different things, and like whether it's themselves or the bike or whatever, and then came out swinging. And then there was obviously a few riders which obviously didn't come out swinging at all. So it was an interesting. It was a really entertaining and interesting first GP, and I think the second and third ones at Latvia are not going to. I think we're going to see even more changes. As people some people are a little bit rusty. The one thing I wasn't aware of was the severity of, and I know we're chopping and changing, but the severity of Olsen's injury.
Well, no one was aware. No one knew he was injured. Like Sunday morning, no one knew about that. So no one knew about the severity, let alone that he was even injured.
Yeah, but obviously it was hindering and quite a bit in the way he faded back.
Well, a fractured shoulder blade's going to do that to you.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be a bit sore in the morning. But
anyway, I feel like we need to address which, like I say, we're chopping and changing.
Yeah,
we need to address the elephant in the room.
All right, go on then. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about it now?
Lead me in.
Because
yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you spent 5 hours working on your defense, because you're going to need it. And I just hope that your defense is up to scratch, because there's a lot of angry people out there. I can see comments already from angry people who are just saying, Lewis knows nothing. Coldenhoff is not an opportunist. Where was the opportunity in Keggums?
Okay, I'm going to talk in facts here. So opinion will be entering what I'm about to say. Everything I'm about to say is factually correct, and you can verify that, okay?
Okay. I'm going to have a drink while you're doing this.
Okay. Not all facts. This is opinion. First of all, that was the most impressive the Coldenhoff's ever been. Scrap his Nations rides, scrap his other GP wins last year, 2015, scrap his first MX2 win in 2013. That was the most impressive Coldenhoff's ever been to me, and I would have said that whether he'd won or not. If he'd gone 2-2 as opposed to 2-1, I would equally have said he has impressed me more than ever, because this is the first time he's been in the fight for the win in a normal situation. Am I right in saying that? Yes?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Because last year, his wins came at a time when Hurlins wasn't 100%. Geyser had all but packed it in because he had the championship. There's no point risking it. And Caroli, Dessau, Fevre from Sweden were all out injured. So this was a very different win for him as opposed to last year. Correct?
Yep, correct.
Thank you. And this is what I was saying in the lead up to Latvia, was that we've never seen him do this. And you can't confidently state it's going to happen if you've never seen it. And people felt like they had seen it before.
Right. So that's your defense?
No, I'm not. My defense, I'm on line 1 of 27 at the moment.
So
that was the introduction to my defense.
Can I just ask, in any of those 27 structured statements that you have, are any of them going to say I was wrong?
Well, I feel like I kind of said that. No, see, what did you think I said last?
I don't think you said anything that resembled those words. I was wrong.
No, but in your words, last week, what did I say about Coldenhoff?
Basically, he was a big dosser.
I never said that. Be truthful. What do you think I was saying about Coldenhoff?
Well, first, I think for the first 39 shows, you probably said he was an opportunist. And then in last week's show, you basically said he's underperforming.
What?
Yeah, because you said basically...
No. See, this is where I get drugged back into Coldenhoff chat, because people misquote me. I said he was doing, at the first 2 rounds, he was doing exactly what Coldenhoff does. He wasn't underperforming. He was doing what Coldenhoff does, which is 4th, 5th, 6th. Right. This is overperforming. This is not normal Coldenhoff.
What's
this is overperforming.
Right.
You can't sit here and go, wow, another classic Coldenhoff win. Gee, how many times have we seen this? No. This
didn't we see it 2
is
nations?
A new situation. That the Nations is okay. This is a good one then. My defence, not for Coldenhoff at the weekend, but Coldenhoff prior to that. Paul Lamb went 1-1 at the Nations in 2014. Yeah. How many people still talk about that day? After that, he won 2 GPs, 2015 Valkenswaard and 2017 Valkenswaard. That's it. But yet, Paul Ann's performance at the Nations in 2014 got everyone talking about how great he is, blah, blah, blah. Clearly, the Nations is a unique beast. We all know that. And can't be used as evidence as going into a normal season.
Are you sure?
Yes. Well, I've just given you a prime example that doesn't include Coldenhoff.
You gave me one example.
A prime example? It was the most important one.
Oh, okay. Do you want to run through your other 26?
So, I said that it was the most impressive that he's been in my eyes, and I think anyone would agree with that. However,
should we go for a break before this?
I don't know whether to just fall on my sword, really.
Yeah, it's really easy. All you have to do is say, "I am wrong." That's it, and then we can just carry on with the rest of the show.
I will say that I was wrong in the fact that. Did I say that Coldenhoff wasn't going to win this year? Yes, I did. Was I wrong?
You did. Yep.
He won.
Yep, you're wrong.
However,
no, there's no however. He won. You were wrong. It's that simple.
Okay. However, Stewart was faster than him. And I don't think anyone was going to sit here and claim that and say that Stewart is going to challenge Hurlins for the title.
If he was faster than him, why didn't he win?
Stewart was faster than him. I would say Geyser was faster than him. I'd say Hurlins was faster than him. Now, full credit, he was the one who got it done. Geyser crumbled, crashed. Hurlins had bad start first one, crashed in the second one. And Stewart, had he not made that mistake with 5 laps to go, maybe he would have been close enough to make the pass on that last lap. So,
Coldenhoff
was the only
Coldenhoff
rock solid.
Yeah, and put in a great ride.
Coldenhoff was the only one who was rock solid.
And again, so basically everything you've put forward, it's really summed up with, I was wrong.
Yeah, I said I was wrong. However,
no, you haven't.
I'm not there yet.
You said.
I said I was wrong.
No, you didn't. You said, but technically. So it's always you never like wrong. You're now going on to a different like. I am wrong, but not really.
Wrong is an interesting word with many meanings.
All you got to do is just admit it. Everybody's listening. Just admit it that you were wrong about Coldenhoff.
I was wrong to an extent.
Make the people happy. You got it wrong.
I was wrong to an extent.
Unbelievable.
What I wasn't wrong. But the thing is, you are now going to sit here and claim that Coldenhoff's going to make a run at this title, aren't you?
I'm not going to...
It's one race.
I'm not going to sit there. But what happens if he does a clean sweep in Kegums?
It's not going to happen.
I'm just saying, what if?
It's not going to happen. If Coldenhoff wins every single GP in Kegums, I'll walk home. I'll swim home.
Oh my God, this would be amazing.
I'll flap my arms up and down and fly home. Like, I'll do whatever.
No offense.
It's just not going to happen.
Some of us have seen you swim. There's no way you're swimming home. You might make it 4 meters.
I will flap my arms up and down and fly home. It's not going to happen. You can't. The fact that you've just sat there and said that proves that once again everyone's getting swept up in the Coldenhoff height.
4 meters and the Coast Guard's coming.
Brilliant. But the fact that we're now talking about whether Coldenhoff is going to sweep Kegums means that once again we're all just taking 15 steps forward. Like it was one GP win. It was the first time in my eyes that he's won a straight up GP where there's no question about it. There's no question about there's no excuse. He won that. There's nothing anyone can say. Right?
Even you.
Even me. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I've forgotten what my point was.
You haven't got a point. This is what I'm trying to allude to. You haven't got a point. You were wrong. All you have to say is, I got it wrong. He is going to win a GP this year because he has done. I may have got it wrong. I did get it wrong.
Okay, yes, I've said I said that. I said he wouldn't win a GP this year, and I was wrong. However, the fact that people are now immediately...
However...
No, but I'm taking the conversation forward from that. I'm saying the fact that people are now saying that he is going to win the championship and, oh, so exciting, is just a bit much.
There's,
At this stage,
there was
let's wait and see.
A lot of industry people and industry experts are all saying it was a phenomenal ride.
I said it was a phenomenal ride. I said there was no doubt about it.
Okay.
You're not accepting what I'm saying with that.
I think you should find, obviously, social distancing, but I think you should find Glenn in the pits and give him a hug. Maybe a social distance hug or something. And just say, I'm sorry.
One thing I am interested to speak to him about is I feel like Coldenhoff doesn't normally get starts like that.
Oh, so now you're basically saying he's got because of the bike. So it's not Coldenhoff now, it's the bike.
What I want to ask him, oh my God, what I want to ask him is that down to the new gas?
Okay.
Is like, I'm interested to know if the new gas is actually, because I'd kind of thought it was just like not going to be that much of a change. Is it really that much of a change where it's now significantly better out the gate? Maybe. But equally, would Coldenhoff have won those races if it started 5th? Because, and that's nothing against Coldenhoff, because Hurlings didn't win starting from 8th. Like, the fact this class is so deep that no one's winning from starting 5th back. You got to get the start to win. Coldenhoff proved that and did it. Congrats to him.
Right. I'm just glad we've got we got this over and done with. Get that camel off your back, Lewis. It's great to hear
However, it is August.
Yeah, and?
Second half of the year.
Oh, well, that's interesting because you could get a COVID outbreak and if he sweeps Keggums, he could end up being the world champion because then the rest of the GPs are cancelled.
I'm not sure how that goes along with what I just said, but fair enough.
No, I know that any any talk of COVID and things being cancelled, it gets you into an emotional mess. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, a lot of people tried talking to me about whether the upcoming GPs are going to be cancelled on Sunday, and I was just like, know your audience.
Did you shut down?
Yeah, no, it's just like, I just immediately was like, wow, you clearly do not know your target audience for this conversation because it's not me.
Did you do the same thing as when you see bears, where you just lie on the ground dead?
You've lost me on that one.
Yeah, don't worry. Right, okay, we're going to go to a break. I would just like to thank Fly Racing, Talon Engineering, Liat, Planet Motor Holidays, Yoko Europe, Prox, Technical Touch, Hinson, KYB, Kawasaki UK, 7, and of course Even Strokes. Great first half. We're live. Have a look on Facebook. Have a look on YouTube. If you got any comments, any questions, just send them in. We got some questions coming up in Ask Vice Anything a bit later on in the show. We have in the next section we have this rubbish game which Lewis came up with called Ask Are You Smarter Than a Birth? Stupid game. But and we were going to give Lewis some more shit about how wrong he is. So we'll see you in the next section.
You are listening to the MX Vice Show.
Technical Touch have been supplying KYB OEM spare parts and factory kit suspension in Europe for decades. Many of the riders you see on track in the FIM Motocross World Championship are using KYB suspension from Technical Touch. Whether you are looking for factory kit suspension or KYB spare parts and oils, they have you covered. Shop now at www.technical-touch.com.
Yoko have returned to Top Flight Motocross with a bang. The Yoko Vili collection is made with racing in mind and designed to be the lightest and most flexible motocross gear on the market. Go to yokoeurope.com to locate your nearest dealer or shop online.
Talon wheels have been iconic in the industry for over 30 years. Designed, built, and manufactured in the UK. Talon wheels, sprockets, and footrests, and clutch baskets are used by professional riders like Jason Anderson, Zach Osborne, and Sean Simpson. Head over to www.talon-eng.co.uk for more info.
Even Strokes is the newest e-commerce store in motocross. Built by motocross enthusiasts, Even Strokes understands your need and offers all of the products you need for a weekend at the track. Shop now for Yoko, Alpine Stars, Fast House, and more at evenstrokes.com.
Liat, protecting riders from head to toe. Check out liat.com for more.
Hinson is the world-leading manufacturer of clutch baskets, clutch covers, clutch discs, and springs for both dirt bikes and quads.
Hinson products are used by many leading riders like HRC Honda, Monster Energy Kawasaki, KTM Factory Racing, and Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing. Shop for Hinson products at technical-touch.com.
The MX Vice Show.
Welcome back to part 2, episode 41 of the MX Vice Show. I'm James Burfield. I'm in studio. Lewis is in Latvia. Hopefully he's still in his hotel room. You still there, Lewis?
I'm still here. Hi.
Fantastic. Just so the listeners can get a picture of you, you sat in your pants doing this podcast?
No, that's weird that you'd want to think that, but fair enough.
This is part 2 of the show, which is brought to you by Technical Touch. Did you know, as well as being the exclusive importer for KYB motorcycle genuine parts, Technical Touch are also the European importer for Hinson clutch components. Technical Touch are also presenting the second half of the MXY show, so show them some support at technical-touch.com. Visit Technical Touch and feel like an MXGP rider, like Calvin Vlanderen. So if you want to have a change around in season, maybe you've just gone back to racing, it's not quite working out as well as you hoped, it's definitely your suspension. Give Technical Touch a call. I'm going to. So Lewis, can you just repeat these words for me and for everybody else who's listening? Glenn Coldenhoff, I was wrong.
I said I was wrong. He won. I said he wouldn't win. However, I'm not going to just sit here and claim that
That is the Planet Moto bombshell of the week. Lewis Phillips has actually said for the first time he was wrong. All the factory teams head to Spain for riding where the weather and conditions are perfect. You can too. Planet Moto holidays provide accommodation, meals, transport and more. An 8-day holiday costs just £845. Visit planetmoto.com to find out more and book now. That is your Planet Moto bombshell of the week. It's nothing else other than Lewis getting something wrong. So
He won. What can I say? However, I was thinking in that break, would it not be very... Is it not very Coldenhoff-y to win the first race back when everyone's feeling a bit off and a bit weird? Like, it's all a bit weird.
Oh, you just won't leave it, will you? Absolutely just won't.
Is that not very Coldenhoff-y?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Because you want to say yes, and
no,
that would technically be sliding with me.
I think you should probably just, quit while you're ahead or behind, whichever one you are.
Okay. Brilliant. Great. You can't even decide that.
So, weekend. What was your biggest surprise? Was it Vlaanderen? Was it Jeremy nearly taking the win? But obviously you've alluded to that before, so I'm guessing that wasn't a surprise to you. Or was it Hurlin's not being as dominant as we expected?
Honestly, I'd say there was lots of surprises. Well, I wouldn't really say call them surprises. If I'm going pure shock, I would probably say. But then again, I thought Vlaanderen was going to be good. But I guess seeing him do it is another thing. So yeah, Vlaanderen. One thing that did shock me is looking at the results after the race and realising that Tixier was 9th in the second race.
Jesus.
Who knows? But yeah, clearly you didn't know that. I wouldn't say there were any necessarily big surprises, because although a lot of people didn't quite do the norm, it wasn't so out of the ordinary that it was a shock, That was the first time Sue has been in a position to win an MXGP race, but we knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Federer hasn't ridden on a Kawasaki. I'll tell you, actually, I'll give you this. I'll tell you this. Federer was better than I thought. And I even said, if you remember, I was kind of saying last week that he could be really good.
Well, I think you nailed it, because didn't you say that you actually see him getting top 3 podium? And he did.
Yep, I think I did.
So I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, I think I did actually, didn't I?
You did, yeah.
Jesus, I am boy genius.
And I had Jazakonis, which put in a solid ride, but just, as always, starts letting down.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I said this in the podcast last week. Federer was great in 2015, great in 2016, until he had the concussion at Matterley. And then 2017, he struggled with bike setup, and he never quite got back to that 2016, beginning of 2016 form on the Yamaha. So suddenly last week I started thinking, what if getting Kawasaki and everything suddenly suiting him again starts to make him edge closer to that form he had in beginning of 2016 when he was phenomenal. Geyser was unbelievable that year, but Federer and Geyser were the conversation. It was them two, side by side, exactly the same talent level. So what if we get that out of Federer, or even anything close to that, then that's really something for the series, because otherwise that's better than the Federer we've had mostly over the last 3 years, which is a 4th, 5th, 6th place guy.
Yeah. He looked good at that.
So that's exciting to me.
Yeah, he looked good at that, and you've got to wonder what he can accomplish this year if he's looking that kind of suited to the Kawasaki and things are going his way.
I'll tell you what also stood out to me with Federer.
Okay.
I much prefer the font of the number 3 on his bike as opposed to Tomac's.
Okay, is that because you're anti-Tomac?
No, I just think the slanted number 3 looks a lot better than the straight up number 3, because I think the straight up number 3 looks quite chunky, whereas I think Federer's looks quite slick.
Okay.
This is what was going through my head on Sunday morning.
Do people out there agree with Lewis? Would you take the Federer number 3 with Tomac number 3? This is a very, very interesting point which Lewis has just brought up. Jesus Christ. One rider I kind of thought kind of snuck under the radar a little bit, who we don't give enough credit to, was Patrell.
Hold up. Well, you're going ahead here. We haven't talked about Geyser, Sewer, Hurlin, Jazakonis, Prado, Paulin. We'll get there.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Patrell for a little bit.
We're not in a rush. We've got all night.
Well, you might have all night. I've got to go home and have some tea. I've got 3 kids.
I'm 2 hours ahead of you, so actually I've got less time than you. We need to talk about Geyser.
Okay, let's talk about
And
Geyser.
Herlings. I don't really know what... Geyser's weekend was strange to me. Because...
In what way?
It was really good, yet there were confusing bits. Like, he won that first moto, but then at the beginning of the races, he seemed to just lose the toe a bit. But then after 4 or 5 laps, he'd kind of bring it back up, and you're like, oh, okay, there he is. I don't know if that was I don't know if it was kind of, back to racing, first few laps tightening up, and then loosening up as it goes on, and suddenly getting back on it. But
I don't know.
There's no question in my mind that he is just as good as he was at the start of the year, and that form that he had at the first 2 rounds, coupled with the new Honda, is a full-blown championship contender and difficult to beat. Clearly, some people thought that he just wasn't going to win at all in Latvia. But I feel like that was his to win, and he didn't win.
But I think that was, my opinion, but I think that was just kind of a typical Geyser. He was either going to go out and get 1-1, or he's going to go 1 and then have a big off, banks back up again like he does, and away he goes. And that's kind of what he did.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about a crash. I'm talking about before the crash.
What, as in fading back, losing a couple places?
No, I don't know. I just felt like... I guess... Partly, I feel like he should have won that first moto easier than he did, which I guess is maybe credit to Coldenhoff, and maybe that's just me not rating Coldenhoff.
That's another Planet Moto bombshell of the week. Wow.
See, I've got opinion. I can go either way. I've got opinions, but
wow.
my opinions go exactly. I'm not biased. My opinions go where they go.
Right. Okay.
And equally, that second moto he should have won. He basically, we're going to look back on Latvia 1 as a missed opportunity for him if this title goes down to the wire, because Herlings went 4-4. Had Geyser stayed on, Herlings would have gone 4-5, which would have been what? 18 add 16, quick maths.
34.
Would have been 34. Geyser was on for 47 points, maybe 50. Like, making up that many points on Herlings doesn't happen much. And I feel like it was a missed opportunity. But then at the same time, he was really good. So I'm like, brilliant. Geyser's really good. This is going to be good. But then I'm also a bit down on it because I'm like, come on. At the end of the day, he was battling with Coldenhoff, Feather and Sewer. All riders he's beaten handily over the last 12 months.
Okay.
Brilliant. I forgot that on a podcast you just say okay to everything I say.
Yeah, you're just making a statement which I haven't got an opinion on, because I just thought it was a typical Geyser performance, to be fair. I don't think it was a strange performance or anything else. I think it had all the ingredients of a Geyser ride. Great ride, win, and a crash, which I have no idea how he just gets back up and gets back on the bike, but does it.
I reckon Geyser and Herlings will split the next 2 Latvian GPs. Geyser will win one of them and Herlings will win the other. I don't know which order that will go, but that's what I reckon will happen.
Okay. Well, that's a safe bet to assume, I guess.
Well, I've lost a lot of credibility after my bets last week, and so I might as well keep middle of the road.
It was really bad. Your only saving grace was Fevra for the podium.
Yeah, I'll stick middle of the road. Keep it safe.
Okay, so was there anything... Are you literally just determining Herlings' performance down to what?
I'll tell you this, right? So Herlings started 9th in the first moto, and my immediate thought was obviously, okay, no biggie, he'll be at the front soon enough. Then suddenly I looked at the people between him and Geyser, and I was like, holy shit, like, that's not easy to get through, which is what I was saying earlier, as in no one's going to win from 5th, I don't think, because the class is deep this year and obviously was deep at the start of the year. But I think because the first 2 rounds were mudders, Matterley wasn't a mudder in the end on race day, but it was like the weekend had that kind of feel of, okay, this is a bit odd, like this isn't normal. I don't think anyone quite realised how deep it was literally because everyone just put everything down to the mudder. So something happened and it was like, yeah, but it's a mudder. Like that's just your automatic pull, isn't it, for anything? So finally seeing everyone in a dry in a normal circumstance, it was like, Jesus. Like, I guess also we didn't have Feather in the mix at the start of the year, so that's another one. But it was, okay, we expected Hurlins to come from ninth and win the first one, but it was never going to be easy passing who we had to pass. And like I say, track was harder to pass on than has been recent years.
I've got a theory.
Okay.
And this goes back to what I said last week when I said that I believe that some of the team owners, team managers would have told their riders, if you've got an opportunity, take it. If not, play it safe. And I think that's exactly what he done. He didn't ride above his to a point where it was like, hold on, I'm riding way above what I should be. I'm taking chances. I think he done what he needed to do.
Interesting you say that, because I thought about you on Sunday.
Okay, that's kind of worrying.
Yeah, because obviously you've been beating this drum for weeks, haven't you?
Yeah.
Every single rider's pit board said 110%, 100%, all in, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's none of that. Hurlins pit in the second race, Hurlins was in ninth. His pit board said nothing other than the gap to first. That's sending a pretty clear message that you need to win this.
Yeah, but you could send a rider as many messages as you want, but at the end of the day, he's going to do what he feels he needs to do. And if the track was that sketchy, and I could have seen the Hurlins of 2 or 3 years ago just literally just go for the whole pride thing. I've got to destroy this whole field. I've got to show everybody how I can go from 8th to 1st, take massive chances, and just destroy the whole season. And I think, I believe from what I seen, sat at home on my TV, that's exactly what he done.
You were sat on your TV?
No, I sat at home on the TV, watching TV. And
I was going to say odd.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe that's what he done. I think he played it safe, and I don't blame him. If this season's going to be where it is, in how many points did he drop? Was it 5 in the end?
Hurlins?
Yeah.
Yeah, to Coldenhoff. Guys, see, I'm just thinking of Coldenhoff as a title contender now. What a day. No, that's a joke. I misspoke. I ain't there.
Planet Moto bombshell of the week, number 3. Anton van der Wetteren is saying, these mudders was why Coldenhoff didn't win the first 2. There we go. So that is from the Prox Ace.
No.
Okay.
That's all I've got to say to that.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I guess, okay, fair enough, you can put whatever you want on the pit board, but you're talking about it from a team strategy point of view, that it was a thing going in of don't push, don't push, don't push. Every single pit board said 100%, don't give up till the end, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, but it's don't get me wrong, it's very easy for a mechanic to write whatever the fuck they want to write on a pit board. However,
I guess they could write.
They're not on the track.
1 million to Nigerian prince who needs money.
Yeah, they're not the guy who's on the track who's literally opening up and just like feeling that bike and just thinking, "Holy shit, that was a close one." And if they come around to do another lap and the guy's going, "We want more," and it's like, well, if I give it more, we're going to have an issue. So what do I do? Do I carry on being consistent and take this, or do I chance it? I think it was. I think he kind of, not saying it for the first time, but I think he had a strategy there of just, okay, let's not get too excited. Let's get this first one done and assess where he is. That's my theory anyway on Hurlin's performance. Because go on.
Go on. No, you go on.
No, I was just going to say he just took time to get around people, and that might be down to what you said about the track was hard to pass, and maybe that played into it as well. But I think it all stems whether it was hard to pass, the track was sketchy, or whatever. All these basically add up to what is the point in injuring myself or throwing away a championship in round 3.
another point that kind of disproves your theory. First motor, we did have Hurling's-esque, like, last 10 minutes, lap times dropped, and it looked like he was going.
Yeah, I did see that.
It just didn't quite happen like that. But why would he drop his times like that by going 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone else on track if that was his game plan?
But maybe when he dropped maybe when he dropped those 2 seconds, he was like, "This is not worth it." I am literally feeling. I am feeling out of, not out of control, but at a point where I don't feel comfortable with this. It's just my. Do you know what we need? We need a goddamn journalist in Latvia who can go and ask these questions. That's what we need.
Yeah, I didn't see Hurlings on Sunday night.
Okay, so
I'm sorry to let you down.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I can't be your hero anymore.
It was always going to be. It's always going to be tough. Okay, so who do you want to discuss next? Because I'm obviously quite keen to talk about certain riders, but I know you like to do things in a certain order. Well,
it's just respect, really, and you can't riders at the front deserve your respect. Can we talk about Sewer through the waves on the last lap of second moto?
Of course, yes, because I know you got very excited while you're doing your post-race podcast.
Did you see it?
I did see it. Yes, I've seen it. Quite a few times. Every lap.
Okay, brilliant. I'm talking about the last lap, so I'm not sure how you saw that quite a few times.
No, I think he was pretty fast through there. And I can see. I know that what you're talking about is the last lap is when he went alongside and took Coldenhoff.
Last lap of the second moto, he went purple in that sector.
Oh, love it when a rider goes purple.
It's the best time of the race. He gained 4 tenths on Coldenhoff through there and was 2 tenths quicker than he was on lap 1 when obviously the waves were at their smoothest. Genuinely, I've never seen anyone go through that section so fast. I wasn't actually watching him at that point, but I caught it out of the corner of my eye and genuinely was like, what the fuck have I just seen?
Well, do you know what I think it was down to?
What's that?
Please hold. With an air oil separated closed cartridge design that is well known in the MX world, the KYB factory kit suspension from our friends at Technical Touch, perfected on one of the toughest tracks in the MXGP series, with all anodized internal parts and DLC coated inner tubes, internal friction is reduced to the minimum. This is what Jeremy had. By adding a mid-speed valve, the KYB factory kit spring fork can be adjusted over a much broader range. One of the extra features of this factory suspension product is a custom spring collar, which provides more front wheel control and increased comfort on jump landings. HTTPS, all the usuals, technical-touch.com, KYB-factory-kit-suspension-info. What a URL. But that was Jeremy's ace card. Technical Touch.
Who says HTTPS when reading out? That's such an old person thing to do. Just visit www.
You are absolutely full of compliments. First you called me little old man, or sad man, I think, at the start.
It was sad man.
I don't even know why I bother.
Well, there is a question coming up in the Liat Ask Vice Anything section that will make you very happy. So I'll stick around for that.
Okay. I'll stay then. I won't walk out like I did last week.
No, we don't want another 5-hour break. No one's got time for that.
Okay.
Sewer wins multiple GPs this year.
What are you smoking crack in the hotel room?
That as long as we get the remaining 13 rounds in.
Oh, here we go.
Wins 2 GPs.
Okay, so if we get all the okay, yeah, right. Everybody's heard that. Lewis has just come out of another beauty.
What? Sewer wins 2 GPs this year.
Well, you've just said that Hurlins and Geyser are going to take the next 2. So that's
about Latvia.
Yeah. So that takes us down to, 11 GPs left? And he's winning multiple. So what's he winning, 8?
2. I'm not saying 7.
Multiple,
I'm not saying
2.
multiple.
What?
That's multiple, more than one. Two.
Are you doing the math or are you doing the maths?
I'm doing the math.
Okay. Oh, Jesus.
Everything's better in America. They drop the S, so
Yeah.
clearly the right thing to do.
Were there anybody on a heater this week? Was there any heaters on track?
Fun fact for everyone. I was at Supercross in 2017 and I tweeted that someone was on a heater.
Oh.
And that was probably the first time that James has genuinely lost his shit with me.
I was like, we're
so
not
mad.
American. We are not American.
He was so mad at me tweeting that someone was on a heater. Literally, I've never actually felt such genuine anger from him.
It was just like we are not Racer X. Racer X do a great job, fantastic job.
Yeah, but
we're not Racer X. You're not American. No one's on a radiator.
Anyone's allowed. You're allowed to. I didn't realize saying that someone was on a heater was an American thing.
It is, because no one in the UK would say he's on a heater. Can you imagine someone at Fat Cat stood there going, "Oh, he's on a heater"? No, they're not doing that, mate. Not at all, ever. Now, if you're at Glen Helen and you're American, all day long.
I don't agree. I disagree strongly.
Okay, well.
Okay, you don't agree.
That's
with
another
me
bombshell of the week.
You don't agree with me saying Sua's going to win multiple GPs. Do you agree that he'll win one?
Yeah, I definitely will. I believe he'll definitely win one GP. I wouldn't say multiple GPs. Are you on about motos or GPs? I'm
going GPs. Motos would be a safer bet, but I'll stick my head on the line.
Yeah, I think he'll. Yeah, I'll go motos. I think he could get a GP win. He's got why not? He showed it the weekend.
It's interesting,
but not multiple.
Last year,
not multiple this year. Step by step.
He said that last year was the finishing second in a championship was on his mind a lot, and that stopped him from really pushing himself until he got to China. And at that point, he pushed himself, showed speed like he never has before, and also crashed because of it. And he said at that point that a big thing was kind of connecting the dots so that he's got the speed now, and then the next step would be finding a consistency to go along with that. Based on Matterley and now here, I'd say quite clear that he's made that step. So as he further refines that skill set, I think he becomes more and more of a force.
One thing I was obviously interested to hear is that he said he was really pleased with the bike setup the weekend. He said he felt really good on the bike.
I don't remember him saying that, but if he said that in my podcast, and he said that in my podcast.
He did say that in your podcast, yeah. So that means that obviously things seem to be going well over there under the Wilvo warning.
Sua is big for Yamaha moving forward. If you look at it, Sua is Yamaha moving forward.
Okay.
Hello? Did you fall off your chair at that statement? Or
no, I agree. I think, but
if you take Sua out of the... Okay, we know Sua was ish in talks with Honda for this year. It never really went anywhere, but it was at least something that was talked about once. Had he gone to Honda, look at where Yamaha would be. Like Sua is effectively pushing Yamaha forward in MXGP and is their marquee guy, which they need.
Yeah, but
and that's only going to get more and more as we move forward, especially now Febvre's gone.
One thing which I was very excited but confused, all in one go the weekend was Tonus's first performance in obviously race one, where was he second or third before he crashed?
He was third. I actually spoke to Tonus on Saturday. He's not got a deal for next year, and it's not 100% that he's done at Yamaha, but in his words, they want to see us race before making a decision. If you're Yamaha, does Latvia encourage you because you're like, he ran third, brilliant, or discourage you because he went 16.25?
But I'm guessing that's going to be the same sort of situation for Paul Ann, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that there's possibly so possibly 2 rides up for grabs under that.
Yeah,
awning
Sue
next
is locked in. Paul Ann and Tonus aren't done at all.
Okay.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. And yes, there are rumours going around aplenty that Coldenhoff is going Yamaha. That's been talked about to death everywhere, including in the pits. Coldenhoff spoke about it in a press conference and said he too has heard the rumours, but he isn't even close to getting anything done for 2021 yet. So those websites that are writing that Coldenhoff has signed are wrong. Coldenhoff was actually in talks with Yamaha in 2018. Yeah, because he signed for stand-in the winter of 2018, 2019. He was actually in talks with Yamaha, Wilvo specifically, not Rinaldi at that point.
Yeah.
For the 2019 season, but ended up going to stand-in. So it would be a little odd for him now to move across to Yamaha, especially considering just how well that stand-in thing is clicking for him.
Yeah.
But well, time will tell.
But it's motocross. It's motocross and a silly season, so who knows?
Time will tell. But that's kind of the musical chairs thing, because obviously if Coldenhoff does go there, then that's one seat gone, and then you're losing either Paul Ann or Tote. Like, that's what it all kind of comes down to. But yeah, you never answered the question. Does Tonus's ride encourage you or discourage you?
I think it. I don't know. When I watched that ride, I thought, here we go. He's found it again. Literally that what he had sort of last year in when we were talking about, what was that special ingredient? What was the thing you changed in which he actually never told you, did he?
Yeah, he did. Remember, it was I think it's like meditation and all that stuff.
Okay.
I think.
Get back on the old Headspace app, Arnold.
Arnold. Hey, Arnold.
Hey, Arnold. One thing I was going to talk about was definitely seen little glimpses of what we could fully expect from Prado. Because, again, from what I seen the weekend, is he was in the mix. Obviously, he's just recovering from the injuries and he needs way more bike time and race time and stuff like that. But he did look good. And a solid 7th overall as well.
Wait, who are you talking about now?
Are you even in this podcast show?
Yeah. Wait, you're talking about Prado now? Jesus, you segued across there very quickly. It's just rattled me.
Sorry, did you want to speak more?
No, I was going to say that obviously last week I said that I struggled to really kind of invest in Tonus doing well because for some reason I just couldn't. I needed to see it in person. I was quite surprised that he ran third and was so rock solid for so long in that first moto. A few people have said that him crashing is classic Tonus. Kind of isn't though, because he was very consistent last year, so I don't think you can say that. But obviously he does have a bit of a problem when it comes to injuries more often than not. And actually, speaking of which, he said the thumb injury that he obviously had at the start of the year, which held him back through the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That actually, nothing was broken, nothing was fractured. It was just a really bad sprain and I think a bit of ligament damage. He actually started riding again after resting it and then had to stop riding again because it was still painful and becoming worse from riding.
Wow.
So who knew a sprained thumb could do that? But the thing is, you talk about these things and it seems like a big deal, but over the course of 5 months, it's obviously not, because even if that's a month and a half lost, that's nothing in 5 months. But yeah, just interesting, because I would have thought that little thumb injury would have healed right up with a couple of weeks off, but it turns out it was a bit more of a niggling one than you would have thought.
Well, can I finally now talk about Patrell?
Yes. Actually, you were talking about Prado. Do you not want to talk about him?
Yeah, well, I did. I kind of offered my opinion, and I was waiting for yours.
Well, my opinion on Prado, and you've skipped Jazakonis, and Jazakonis, Arminus, that was not me who did that. Before it gets pointed out to you, and you want to approach me in the pits about the podcast.
It's not.
That was James who skipped over you.
I mean, it's basically what happened is Lewis has just messaged me and said, skip him. I'm going to fight him on Wednesday anyway. So I didn't want to say it, but now it's just said something about you're too tall for MXGP, something like that, a bit nastier. So
okay. Anyway, So, as you know, I've been quite high on Prado in recent weeks. When I watched him in
You've been
practice
high on
Sunday,
Prado?
yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. That's a saying.
Okay.
You can be high on something, like it's something...
Drugs
like,
mainly,
you're
but
big
not
about.
high on Prado.
Okay. I've been high on Prado lately, and watching him in practice on Sunday morning was... just watching it, not looking at times, not looking at anything, just watching him go around the track, I was like, oh my God, he's going to be so good eventually. Like, you got to remember again, not much prep, broke his collarbone in the break, and not at the beginning of the break either. Only had 7 weeks of riding since the Nations last year. Very far from 100% as far as bike fitness goes. But oh my God, once he figures it out, I'll go as far as this. Another Planet Moto bombshell for you. If you said right now that Prado was your pick for the championship next year, I wouldn't even bother questioning you.
Really?
I would go fair enough, because I can almost see myself going there.
What, even jumping over Jeremy?
Oh, honestly, I think we're all in for. I think the injuries that have kind of slowed his start to MXGP and put him 7th overall has kind of like slowed the hype train a bit. I think we're all in for a shock eventually.
You are definitely high on Prado, aren't you? You're high on something.
Yeah, genuine. Like, honestly, all it is with Prado at the moment is watch this space.
Okay.
Because big things are coming. I'm pretty sure of that. I'd almost bet my house on it.
Right. Are you happy to leave MXGP there, or is there more you want to talk about?
So after demanding that we talk about Patrell for the last hour, you're now just going to skip straight over
Yeah, I'm over it now. Absolutely over it.
Paul Ann said, obviously, they had EMX on Saturday. Basically, Saturday was an EMX day. They ran as if it was MXGP and MX2.
Okay.
So they had their 2 motos, their times qualifying. They didn't really flatten the track much overnight, as they shouldn't have. Obviously, they don't do that at a GP normally.
Right.
But it caught a few guys by surprise, hitting the track for the very first time, and it immediately being rough. Because obviously, when they go out for free practice on a Saturday morning, normally, yeah, okay, it's been cut up a bit, but it's not to the point that it was on Sunday morning. And Paul Ann mentioned that after the race as something that kind of threw him off a little bit.
That's kind of
made him feel not so comfortable, led to arm pump and that sort of stuff.
That's kind of a strange thing to say.
Do you want me to read you exactly what he said?
Go on then.
We started on a track that was already rough from yesterday, so we had to be fast immediately. I really struggled with that, got arm pump and was riding tight, so I only had the 10th time in qualifying.
Wow, so the intensity then really caught him out.
I don't know if you'd say it's intensity.
Well, it's the intensity from the track and what he's having to ride like.
I guess if your plan going into that free practice session, which is 20 minutes, so plenty of time, is okay. Obviously, it's your first time on a bike on the weekend. You're going to be cold. You need to warm yourself up. I guess going straight out into a track like rough isn't going to allow you to do that, is it? Because you've immediately got to hit your marks. Like you've been to GPs, I think.
Well, I've been to Marshfield. You want to try and go out there in session 3.
First couple of flaps for free practice. Everyone's on the pegs rolling around, aren't they?
Well, not in Marshfield.
Okay, brilliant. And I guess going straight out onto a track that rough would make it so that you just can't be sloppy. You can't if you're going through those waves, you've got to be committed on the very first lap. You can't kind of poodle through there half-assed, because then you will get caught out with it already being that rough. And a few guys mentioned that.
Okay, thanks for that.
So
that
insight.
insight.
A bit different. Also something that came up a few times is as I said, EMX had the full program on Saturday, and the EMX lines, as it were so embedded into the track that it almost, a few guys pointed to that as the reason why it was tough to pass on Sunday, because they were quote unquote amateur lines.
Wow. Bit disrespectful.
And obviously, But wow is a bit different to your normal okay, but fair enough. And obviously, okay, compare this to a regular GP. Okay, the EMX riders are out before then, and they've, as I said, cut up the track. But it's not to the point where MX2 and MXGP can go out, carve their own lines, and then they're there. Whereas I effectively guess it would be like sending, and this is probably a terrible example, but sending a GP rider out on a club track at the end of the day, where you, James, on your KX250,
factory,
look at me acknowledging
factory
your life,
KX250,
like
Team Green.
You on your KX250 are going to cut really tight. Like you're not gonna flow at all, are you?
Oh no, I'm all about the flow. So I'm fast outside lines, berms.
In the lines that you would put on a track, there would be zero momentum in those lines because it would be very stop-start, little stall, little tip over.
To be fair, most people use round corners. A lot of people are tending to use now where my handlebars are dragging on the floor, so they're actually using that for a rut.
Okay, brilliant. But yeah, and obviously there's fast guys in EMX, and you can't. But I guess there's a lot of lower level guys in EMX as well who they're great riders, but compare them to your Paul Anns, and there is a big gulf there, and therefore they're going to ride the track very differently.
Yeah. As Jeremy Seawer said in his post race podcast, it's the same track for everybody, bro.
Look, I like how you listened to my post race podcast once in your life, so now you just quote them non-stop.
Brilliant, isn't it? It's amazing what happens when I do a little bit of research.
But I don't know what the answer to that problem is, because you flatten the track a load on Saturday night, that does nothing, because then the track isn't going to get rough enough for the motos, and it's just going to be
I think you just get on with it, to be honest. As Jeremy said, the same for everybody. Maybe they should spend some more time at Lawson's Thornbury MX, because Marshfield is rough. And I'm sure Latvia was sketchy, but you get to session 4 of the day, and that's real bumps, people, real bumps. So just get on with it, I think. You're a professional. You got technical touch suspension. What more do you want? You should be gliding across there. Maybe give him a few little tips the weekend, Lewis. Wednesday, sorry.
James.
What?
Benoit Patrel, go.
Well, do you know why I was impressed? Because the team had obviously the news of Lieber retiring, and that put them down to Benoit and, bless him, Artem. And
bless him.
And let's face it, Artem's not going to spearhead Jackie Martin's team next year. He's doing very, very well. And, he's, just, he is, 32nd, the 555, didn't score any points the weekend. But for me, like being all serious, Patrell's basically had that pressure put on his shoulders because he has to go out there now and perform for those sponsors. So I think that's added pressure because everybody would have expected Lieber to be the kind of leading guy there at the team. But I think Patrell, I was impressed that he put in two solid rides and, came away, was it 9th overall, really good second race. But the fact that he had extra pressure on him and performed. I think it was, when you look at it from that point of view, I think he deserves some credit.
Obviously, he was really good at Volkenswaard, which was a surprise. So I'm more surprised if he managed to back that up.
Well, the same could be said.
Equally, not two tracks that you'd put down as Patrell tracks.
No. I agree. And that's what I just think that the performance, I don't think he gets enough credit because obviously he's had a couple of tough seasons. So I think credit where credit's due. I think he performed well the weekend, and he done well at Valkenswaard. So that's why I wanted to give him some time and mention him. So
quickly. I think Jackie Martin should contact Brent Van Donnick to replace Lieber.
Really? Are you that impressed with his performance?
Who, Van Donnick?
Yeah.
Wait, he's a good rider. He deserves to be an MXGP, and I think that's your best bet if you're Jackie Martins.
Okay, there we go. There you have it.
But then again, I imagine budget's quite tight over there, and I'd imagine that losing a rider isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world.
No, not if you've
as
already
far
got the
as
money in.
saving the budgets goes.
Yeah, it depends if a team a sponsor kind of looks at it and thinks they've been a little bit shortchanged, but there we go.
Well, I think it's mainly energy drinks, isn't it, that demand a certain number of bikes on track. Jackie Martin's Honda doesn't have a title sponsor. It is JM Honda, so I guess they're a little free in that respect.
Yeah. Okay.
DeSalle lost his rhythm randomly with 10 minutes to go. No real explanation for that other than he hopes to be better on Wednesday. He's staying in my hotel, actually.
He's staying in your hotel?
Do you want to just rattle through MXGP quickly, seeing as we're almost there?
Yeah, if you could give us a little bit of a lowdown of what you've seen, that'd be great.
Okay, Tixia 9th in the second race. Crazy impressive. And first race as a team owner.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Yep. Caroli was better than people are saying. He qualified 8th or 9th, I think, if I remember right. And he would have been higher up, but for some reason, Sector 4 was killing him. I have no idea why. But his times in the first 3 sectors were impressive and on par with the front 5. So I don't think this is at all anything. I don't think everyone's getting a bit carried away. In the same way that everyone gets carried away with going upwards with Coldenhoff, I think they go the opposite way with Caroli. It's fine. He did twist his knee in the second race, in the first turn crash, and was limping pretty good after the race, but I think it's fine because he was practicing starts today and doesn't really seem to be even mentioning it. So
okay,
I think it's fine.
That's not going to hold him back.
It doesn't seem like it. I was expecting it to be more of a kind of... I was expecting it to be more mentioned after I found out about it. Chervlin was crazy impressive at the start of the year and still is. Who would have thought?
Yep.
14th overall doesn't look like much on paper, but
he's definitely one flying under the radar, really, and he again should be getting credit for coming in his rookie year.
Equally, I don't think he'll ever get a ride better than that. I think he's found a good spot there, and that'll just be him. I think that's the way it should be. I think that's good for him, that place. STM course Yamaha, of course. See what I did there? Yep. STM course Yamaha, of course. Van Horbeck was better than his 16th overall shows. He had top 10 speed both times. Mitch Evans is coming off a full shoulder reconstruction and only rode 4 times, I think, coming into the weekend. So kind of expected. It's going to be a bit of a long road for him building himself back up.
But picked up both points in both races.
Yep. Leok had his 500th moto start in the second moto in Latvia.
Wow. Congrats.
I'd imagine he'll get his 1000th soon enough because he just seems to be going nowhere.
He's going nowhere. He's there for good.
Bobashev had to get stitches in his arm after a first turn crash, but all good otherwise. Sterry made his debut with Hitachi KTM, and in many ways it was his first proper 450 race because he didn't really get much in the way of proper race action with the other team. So there you have it.
He was running
Nicholas
top 20 at certain stages of the race, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think, but also he missed out on a lot of bike time in the 5 months off, so he needs to build up fitness, bike fitness, and all of that. So a bit of a road ahead of him. Nicholas Lapucci was 27th overall. All you people rambling on about him after Faenza. As I said, that was a Faenza thing and an Italian championship thing. Valentin Guillot, 29th overall. That's me smashing the panic button.
Work, damn you! What about
hear me smash?
What about his teammate as well? Are we smashing that panic button or not?
Who, Van Horbeck?
Yeah.
No, I said his 16th overall isn't at all representative of how he rode. He's got top 10 speed easy. Okay. If anything, he did better than I expected.
Right. Okay.
Sean Simpson crashed really hard in the second race. Looked like he was in a world of pain, and is fine. Is just beaten up generally. He's not got anything broken or fractured, but he has got a sore back, neck, upper body, so he's gone home already to get checked out and is a definite no-go for the remaining Latvia rounds.
Really? So he's out of the next two?
I see Monticelli has scored 0 points, and I don't know what happened there. That's news to me.
Well, Monticelli had a big one. So it was on the, when you come past I guess it's the media center before you go into the race. You know the big corner where you jump up, and you kind of jump up and you go into the corner. He came down on the inside, but overjumped it and went big. And I don't know if he went if he had another crash after that one, but that one was bad enough anyway.
What was that in the first moto?
I don't know. I think it was, yeah. Yeah, Rob's just giving me the thumbs up.
Of you there, I?
Yeah, Rob's just giving me the thumbs up. I got backup. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but I did see the crash, and it was it wasn't a good one.
But yeah, Guillaume proving that maybe you can't just take a year out of MXGP and slot right back in. I don't know.
No. What was his results like at the start of the year?
Less than stellar.
Okay. Well, not.
But then again, he came off the couch last year and did well at Tuchenthal. So I don't know.
I don't think you should read too much into it. I read that Anton Gold just had a bit of an off day. Crashed in one of the turns, didn't he?
Crashed in one of the turns.
Sorry.
Ratings.
He crashed in the first turn of the second moto, I think it was. He was caught up in that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few guys went down there.
Yeah. And I seen that Bernardini, he must have hit some type of water because he literally was just like someone just chucked brown paint over him. So he was having a bad day.
Oh.
Missed that one, didn't you?
That's MXGP for you in my eyes. Yeah.
There we go.
Nothing to stress. Herlings or Geyser will win on Wednesday. Normality will be restored.
Right, we're going to go for a little break. In part 3, we will be having that crap game called Are You Smarter Than a Birth? And we will be going through your questions. Plus, I'm guessing you want to talk a little bit about MX2. Is that correct, Lewis?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay,
That would be nice.
Have you just walked off to the bathroom or something?
No, I thought that was you leading into that. I didn't expect you to call.
Come back. What are you getting? Room service? Jesus Christ.
No, I went and got a bottle of water out of the fridge.
Okay, how much is that going to cost? I don't think MX can afford that.
I bought it previously.
Okay. All right. Thanks to Fly Racing, Talon Engineering, Liat, Planet Motor Holidays, Yoko Europe, Prox Racing Parts, Technical Touch, Hinson, KYB, Kawasaki UK, 7, and Even Strokes. Thank you very much for the support. Without those guys, we wouldn't be here. So a huge respect to those guys. If you get a chance in this little commercial break to go onto their websites, have a little look, that'd be lovely. We'll be back in 5.
You are listening to the MX Vice Show.
Talon wheels have been iconic in the industry for over 30 years. Designed, built, and manufactured in the UK. Talon wheels, sprockets, and footrests, and clutch baskets are used by professional riders like Jason Anderson, Zach Osborne, and Sean Simpson. Head over to www.talon-eng.co.uk for more info.
Even Strokes is the newest e-commerce store in motocross. Built by motocross enthusiasts, Even Strokes understands your need and offers all of the products you need for a weekend at the track. Shop now for Yoko, Alpine Stars, Fast House, and more at evenstrokes.com.
Liat, protecting riders from head to toe. Check out liat.com for more.
Technical Touch have been supplying KYB OEM spare parts and factory kit suspension in Europe for decades. Many of the riders you see on track in the FIM Motocross World Championship are using KYB suspension from Technical Touch. Whether you are looking for factory kit suspension or KYB spare parts and oils, they have you covered. Shop now at www.technical-touch.com.
Yoko have returned to top flight motocross with a bang. The Yoko Vili collection is made with racing in mind and designed to be the lightest and most flexible motocross gear on the market. Go to yokoeurope.com to locate your nearest dealer or shop online.
Hinson is the world-leading manufacturer of clutch baskets, clutch covers, clutch discs, and springs for both dirt bikes and quads. Hinson products are used by many leading riders like HRC Honda, Monster Energy Kawasaki, KTM Factory Racing, and Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing. Shop for Hinson products at technical-touch.com.
The MX Vice Show.
Welcome back to part 3 of the MX Vice show. Brought to you by Fly Racing, Talon Engineering, Liat, Planet Motor Holidays, Yoko Europe, Prox Racing Parts, Technical Touch, Hinson, KYB, Kawasaki UK, 7, and Even Strokes. Fly Racing has redefined expectations in safety and performance with the Formula helmet. Tested on the most advanced equipment in the world, the Formula helmet's overall performance is best in class in both high-velocity crashes as well as rotational and low-speed impacts. Featuring Rayon technology, Conehead EPS, and a 12K carbon shell, the Formula's Advanced Impact System, AIS, introduced a new approach to both protection and weight reduction. Weighing only 1,290 grams, we believe the Formula to be the perfect combination of industry-leading innovation and ultra-lightweight design. Simply put, the Formula helmet changed the game. Speaking about helmets that changed the game, you still there, Lewis?
Hi, you?
Yeah. What? Did you have a quick shower in your room?
No.
No. Room service? Do anything?
Once again, odd.
No. Just wondering what you got to get yourself up. What you been up to?
Oh, I mean, it was 3 minutes, so.
Well, that's enough time for a few things.
Okay, fair enough.
You want to talk about MX2, don't you? Should we just go straight into?
I don't know.
Should we just go straight into
feel
Fernandez?
Like maybe we should.
What the hell was that?
Would you like to do? I thought we were going to do your game.
Well, do we want game? Should we break it up a little bit?
Let's do your game quickly.
Okay.
Because I've got it in front of me.
Right, let's do it. Go on in. Go.
Okay. Yep. Welcome to a regular game on the MX5 show called Are You Smarter Than a Birth? I would tell you all about it, but I can't find my sponsor read until now, when I've just found it.
Jeez.
Are you smarter?
I get such great value from this.
Are You Smarter Than a Birth is presented by Even Strokes, the newest arrival in the e-commerce game. And they can cater to all your needs with a range of offers on Talon, with around 500 quid, 600 quid. Gear, 79 quid for a set of gear. Can't get better than that. One grip of seat covers, Fox, load of casual clothing, shorts for this hot weather that we're experiencing here in Latvia, and all of that stuff. Anything you need can be found at www. As James would like me to say, seeing as he likes to tell people how to search stuff on the internet.
https.evenstrokes.com.
No matter what you ride or where you ride, Even Strokes has you covered. Are you ready?
Well, actually, can I just stop you there? Because I would like to thank Mark Davis, Phil White, Naomi Plant, Declan Molly, Dane Bradley, Gavin Hunt, Valerie Griffiths, Phil White again, Jacob Brown, Aaron Sykes, Colin Dorey, Jennifer Colvin, Max Langdon, Pete Norton, Jake Emery, Tim Grigg, Tiff Hall, Bo Thompson, Jordan Mead, Richard Ferd, Keith Halliwell, Ollie Jones, Paul Byrne. Thank you so much, guys, for the T-shirts, for asking for the magazines. We've been sending out magazines with T-shirts and God knows what else. But thank you so much for the support. Without you guys, honestly, we wouldn't be able to do this. So appreciate everybody who supports us with MX Vice and Even Strokes. There we go, Lewis.
Brilliant. You need 4 out of 5. You've never got 4 out of 5 in your life. Can you do it today? What do you reckon?
Well, it's live. I'm feeling confident, and I've got two computer screens.
This is the first time we've done it live.
It is, yeah. And I've got 2 computer screens in front of me, so I can just search.
Well, I actually thought to myself that you might have a computer in front of you today, so I made sure to try and make it a bit different. Although the first question you're definitely going to get right if you've got results in front of you, which I guess you have.
I have now, so hold on, let me get ready. Yes.
Can you turn those upside down? Because otherwise you'll have the answer.
Okay, right. Okay, I
and
cannot
video,
see them.
Wait, hold on. Let me just get my video up quick and see if you've done that. Yeah, it looks all right to me.
Right, okay, kids. Right, okay.
Question 1. Name 4 current Honda riders in the MXGP class.
Okay, Van Horbeek, Guillo, Geyser, and Mitch Evans.
Look at that. You flew through it. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Name the 4 gas riders in MXGP and MX2.
Oh, bastard. Okay, Jeremy Sidow, Lagenfelder, Coldenhoff, and Monticelli.
I'm going to need Lagenfelder's first name.
Simon.
Okay, that's 2 out of 2 so far.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Oh, you need. Okay, right.
I don't want to get too
Question
excited.
3.
Calm down.
Question
I need
three.
Arnold Tonus's meditation.
Question 3.
Okay.
Who has won more motos in MX1/MXGP? Sebastian Porcel, Christoph Porcel, or Ben Townley?
Oh.
Motos, we're talking.
Motos. I'm going to go Tangley.
That's incorrect.
Bollocks.
Who do you think it was?
Seb.
Yep, Seb Porcel with 8 to his name. Christoph and Townley had 6 apiece.
Okay, well, it's close. Okay.
You need to get the next 2 right for a 4 out of 5 and to pass. Question 4. The MX1 MXGP class was introduced in 2004. There have been 8 world champions in that class since then.
Yeah.
Name 5 of them.
Okay. Geyser, Fevre, Crowley, Everts, and Hurlins.
Would you look at that? Wow, I actually, as I read that out, I thought it might be a bit easy.
Come on!
I suddenly realised that Hurlin's, Geyser, Feather, and Crowley are immediately obvious for you.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to you. I should have. If I'd said name 6, would you have struggled?
When did Steve Ramon win?
Yeah, 2007. Right, this is the first time that you've actually had a shot at a pass.
Okay.
But you've got to get this right. Final question.
That's my drum roll.
All right, that's a bit much.
All right.
Right. Final question.
Yeah.
Who has had more overall wins in the MX1/MXGP class since 2004? A. Eli Tomac. B. Mark Deruva. Or C. Tanel Leok.
Overall wins?
Overall wins.
Oh.
You have 10 seconds left.
Tomac.
It's incorrect.
Oh! Who was it?
Leok.
Fuck you now. That's bollocks. How many wins has Leok had?
3. 1 on Kawasaki, 1 on Ducati Yamaha, and then 1 on LS Honda.
What's Tomac had? 2?
Yeah, the 2 in 2016. Charlotte and Gohana. He didn't win. He didn't win WW in 2017.
Shit game.
You're so close though. I'd say that was definitely your best week so far, but equally probably the easiest I've made questions.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I like how you give a compliment and just take it back.
You know me.
Right. Okay. Thank God we got that over and done with. One day I'm going to get over 3. Maybe next week.
I think next week I'm just going to do the hardest questions ever and see. See what you come out with.
Of course you are. Right. Did you want to talk about MX2?
Yeah, we probably should. You know?
Well, we need to give some credit to Ruben Fernandez, who was so close to a podium, and neither of us even called that.
Neither of us. I don't think anyone in the world did.
No.
Or maybe, apart from maybe a couple of Spaniards with the last name Fernandez.
Yeah, Dave Fernandez.
Actually, one of the questions was going to be what country is Ruben Fernandez from, but then I guess you would have had the results in front of you.
Yeah, I know. I would have known that one anyway.
Where's he from?
Spain.
I was hoping to catch you out there. Yeah, I have no idea where that came from. He's always had speed, like raw speed, but he's never had that much raw speed, and equally, he's never had even an ounce of consistency to go along with it.
But he just...
And I guess he still hasn't because he threw it away, but he's closer to it.
But he was on a track where people obviously riders were saying that it was hard to pass and stuff like that. He just seemed to find extra time. Just was it one point he was? Did he have fastest lap at one point?
He had the fastest lap of the day in MX2.
Wow.
Well, I say day, I mean across the two motos, obviously.
Yeah,
times in qualifying were a lot quicker because track was smoother. But yeah, across the two motos, he had the fastest time.
Yeah, it is an incredible performance.
That came in Moto 2.
It'd be interesting to see how he fares on Wednesday if he backs that up with another solid performance. I think that's going to be the key.
You'd think he would because he was that good that you'd like, well, why wouldn't he be that good? But then also, why would he be this good in the first place?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I was just...
I'm not... Go ahead.
I was just a little bit kind of like, just where did that come from? We had no signs of this coming into this race. So is it something?
I'm not expecting him to back it up though.
What? So you just think he got a little bit excited on the day and just knocked one out?
I don't know. Well,
I don't know how you just knock out a performance like that on a track which was so sketchy.
I mean, he was 10th in the first moto at Matterley. Like, did everyone just completely overlook that based on no points in the second race?
Maybe.
Had he actually gone 10-10 on that day, would this actually be no surprise at all?
Well, 10-10 for 10th, 10th overall, whatever, 9th overall. That we've already said the depth within that class is pretty incredible. That would be, that would have put him on the radar, I guess.
His crash in the second moto reminded me of like getting double bounced on a trampoline.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when you're coming down, just as someone else bounces and then it kicks you. Remind me of that.
Yeah, but again, he responded well. After coming off, you went with that crash. You wouldn't have thought, oh, that's it, that's him done now. But still managed to pick up points. And good points.
I felt like my tweet about Fernandez was slightly harsh. When he crashed in the second race, I said, like, oh, there he goes, he crashed. Surprised it didn't happen sooner. But he is known for that. Like, I felt harsh for tweeting that. But generally, no one expects it. Like, he does not just hold it together through motos, especially when he's running that high up. Like, there was absolutely nothing to suggest this was coming, or that even once he was in that position early on, he was going to stay up there. Nothing at all. And there was nothing even in the first moto, no way did I dead cert think he was going to do it again in Moto 2.
Can you imagine how much money you would have won in a bet if you said that he was going to be the best placed Yamaha rider?
Do you want to know what's funny? I was thinking that exact thing in pit lane.
Can you imagine what the payout would be in Vegas for something like that? It'd be insane. Just absolutely insane. You
probably wouldn't be doing this podcast show right now because you'd retired.
Yeah. No, I actually love this. No, actually, I don't love this podcast show. I mean, I do love my job, just not this podcast show.
Oh, in line with the tonus question, if this semi continues, like he continues to be a top 10 guy, do you think he gets a look at any of the top 5 teams in MX2 being like your F&H's, your Kimias?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know though, because he had his shot with F&H, and I kind of feel like the fact that he was at F&H and has gone down to this level, I feel like once you've gone down that far, it's hard to get back up. Strybos did it, but then equally Strybos had years worth of results behind him.
Yeah, I do think that F&H probably seen something in the first place in him. Maybe he just needed to take a year out. And do what he's doing now today, take that step back up again. Maybe it was a bit too soon, but there's no doubt he's obviously got the talent, and to be able to performances in what he put in on Sunday was unreal. It just I think it's up there with performance of the day for all riders.
Oh, easily. But Wednesday can go one of two ways, because he either picks this up and goes, "Fuck me, look at this. I'm a top 5 rider in MX2. Who would have thought? Amazing. And then comes out and kills it, knowing that. Or he sits on the line and goes, "Oh my god, I'm a top 5 rider in MX2. Oh fuck me, who would have thought this would happen? Oh, it's amazing, it's amazing. I've got to do it again. Fuck."
I think he's gonna go in there knowing that he at significant parts of the race he was the fastest rider on track and was able to pass people, and I think that's got to give him a lot of confidence going into Wednesday. Kind of knowing that I've got this. I know I can do well on this track. There's nothing out here what scares me. As sketchy as it is, I feel comfortable.
I'm equally though. I don't know what I was going to say.
I don't know, but I was wondering what you were doing.
I am equally something.
Surprised?
But I can't remember what I am equally.
You can't be, agreeing with me.
What was I can't remember what I was going to say. Something about Fernandez. I don't know.
But it was a great performance. Either way. I wanted to speak about Fernandez. Were you pleased with the other Yamaha riders' results? Obviously, Ben Watson 5th overall. And
wait, before we do that, Vial.
Well, I think we both got that so wrong. Because last week,
what did I say?
Last week we kind of wrote him off. We said that he would not be able to, he'd have the odd, win here and there, but we wouldn't be able to, consistency, and that's where Olsen would step in. Obviously, we didn't know about Olsen's injury.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, and we both got that wrong.
I need to get more consistent with my opinions.
Yeah, you do. I don't want to bring it up, but there we go. You got a lot of things wrong last week. A lot.
Well, because I said at the start of the year, I was saying how Vial has a potential to do a Prado and turn this thing into a snoozer. And I was thinking on Sunday, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I think that. Yeah, he can. He has got that potential. So now I believe that again.
Those 154 days were not your best friend, was it? They were
I think I just went through the highs and lows quite a lot, changed my opinion on everything, and then I forgot. But now I'm back on
denial.
Now I'm back on
drugs.
MXGP roll. I'm kind of remembering how I feel about things. Yeah, Vial has the potential to make this very boring. Gets a start. Is pretty solid more often than not. I think he made one little mistake. Went off track slightly in the second moto, but apart from that, he was pretty much rock solid.
That was around the back where he was too close to the edge.
Well, that would happen if you go off a track. You would tend to be quite close to the edge.
No, not necessarily.
I think it's possible to just magically appear on the other side of the track.
But he took a line which was basically the furthest line, and obviously just went wrong.
Yeah, I think he has the potential to do a Prado and just destroy this. Because if you look at it, who would really think that right now Vial is sat on a 22-point lead?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. After 3 rounds.
After 3 rounds, that's a lot. For him, for someone who had only one GP win coming into the season and had never even won a moto in his life because his GP win came via a 2-2.
Well, that gives him kind of a moto, DNF or DNS or whatever. That's given him a little bit of a cushion now, that not to press the panic button if something does go wrong.
Well, this is the thing. I said it all along. You can't trust these guys to be consistent, and Gertz proved it. Because what did he do? He imploded.
Bit harsh.
Well, he did.
Well,
what? That's not even harsh.
No, I don't know what happened in Moto 1. But implode was probably a little bit, is a little bit extreme.
No,
but
because I think. Hold up, I know what happened. I've written it down in my little notebook here. Give me a sec.
But Moto 2 was a great.
Talk.
Was a great. That's kind of got to be like the way he came back in the second moto. That has to be comeback of the year so far, to go from how he was in race 1 to how he was in race 2.
Yeah, so his roll-offs broke early in the first moto, and he wanted to get past Vial so quickly so that his goggles didn't get filled in, and that is why he crashed the first time.
Okay.
And after that, he threw his goggles, and then he claims he crashed in the second race because he claims he crashed for the second time in the first race because he couldn't see because he'd been filled in so much.
Okay.
But still, lots of riders had goggle problems over the years. And part of being a champion is you don't turn that goggle problem into a 16th.
Yeah.
Because you want to know what? This is my point all along. I said this to Olsen after the race. Obviously, Olsen's riding with a fractured shoulder blade, limped to 11th in the first moto. He gained 5 points on Gertz. And that's what this MX2 class is going to allow everyone to do.
Yeah. It's exactly as we thought it's going to be. I think there's going to be. I don't think Viao and Gertz are going to sweep the whole series. I think there's going to be other winners throughout the year. Van Moosdijk looked very, very good. Balrami, he looked great. I think Watson's going to take one. Obviously, you've got Olsen, you've got Beaton. It's a stacked field, a stacked class, especially the top five. I mean, you could possibly see, different top five, top seven. Each week overall wise. But
oh yeah, for sure. I don't think you'll see the same top six in the same order once this year.
No. It's they're all very capable of podium, and it's going to be who's going to be the more consistent.
I would say that right now, if anyone bets against Vial for the title, that is brave. Considering he has a 22-point lead at this time.
22-point lead, and now we know of Olsen's injury. So,
and actually, when you think Vial, we don't have that much data because he only turned pro last year. But I don't feel like Vial is a crasher so much. I don't think there's this highlight reel of massive Vial crashes anywhere.
No, we said, didn't we? I think it was a couple of episodes ago. He had a dip in form. And that's the only thing we've seen is a dip in form, but that was it. He's not shown us
you're talking about Arnhem pre-season race?
No, this was last year. So last year there was I think it's probably about 3/4 of the way through the year. He just had a bit of a dip in form, but then he bounced back. You might want to check that I'm correct in that, but I'm pretty sure I can remember.
It's fine. I trust you. I trust you.
I remember he had a little bit of a dip in form last year. What from being there the weekend, obviously the track. Who impressed you outside of Fernandez? Who impressed you the most in MX2?
I'd probably go with Brorame. Purely because I have this. He never really enters my mind when I'm thinking about the MX2 class. And especially, I think I said it last week, okay, I'd probably think about him more so going to a place like Tushintal or Turkey or Faenza, not so much Latvia. And he, third overall, 4-3, but he was close enough to be considered in the fight for the win.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked...
So,
good choice. He looked really good the weekend. What about... Van Moosdijk, though, you kind of expected him to come out in podium?
Well, funny one. Who would have thought that when Moosdijk broke his ankle at Volkenswaard that he'd go second overall in his next race?
Yeah, again, a better man in Vegas. Wow.
Decent. The COVID break definitely helped him because he would have been in the right hole points-wise. Otherwise, which actually, again, how inconsistent is this MX2 class? Moosdijk broke his ankle at one of the 3 rounds that we've had and is 7th in the points.
Yeah.
I want to compare the points. Actually, it would be interesting to take the average amount of points across the top 10 and compare that to every other MX2 year, because I bet it's lower this year.
Well, that sounds like a real fun job to do. You knock yourself out in your hotel room there.
But I definitely didn't expect it to go. I definitely didn't expect the Vial and Gertz show to continue here. That would have been considering the ultimate healthy. But equally, I'm surprised it was so much about those two.
Yeah, I mean, Fernandez was my hands down, surprise of the day. Buarami, I agree. My disappointment was Hoffer and Muse. I don't know what quite happened to either rider. Did they just have a bad day? I mean, Hoffer crashed. Yeah.
Hoffer had a 5th in the first race and crashed out of the second one, poor guy. And you're just over here berating him.
Yeah, probably being a little bit too harsh when you think of...
Hoffer wasn't a disappointment at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Hoffer is still going in the direction that you would hope as a Red Bull KTM upstart.
Okay. I think the problem is because of what Vial done in his rookie year, you kind of expected... I expect Hoffer to come in and do the same sort of thing, but a 5th in a crash, is one of those things. But the panic button's got to be going for Conrad at the moment.
It's early.
Okay,
it's early.
I'm happy with that. If you're the expert, if you're saying it's too early, I'm glad. I'm a big fan.
No, I'm just
a little bit concerned.
He pulled in on the first. He pulled in in the first race because he thought there was a bike problem. He felt it was bogging or something. I can't remember exactly. And then second race, he crashed somewhere. I never saw it. I don't really know where it was, but his number plate was hanging off, and that was it. He pulled in. So not much to go off of, but I do think that this Latvian stint could be the thing to turn it around for Conrad, because all you need is like a light switch to go off, I think. And Conrad can go fast for one lap. We've seen that over and over. Like, there's been certain practice sessions here and there where he's lit it up. And Valkenswaard last year, for instance, in practice, he was purple, clearly up there.
Yeah.
If he can do that in a timed qualifying session here and get top 5, he's golden. Because even if he screws up the start, which has kind of been a consistent thing with him, starts are the thing holding him back. Like, when have you ever seen him start top 5? Even if he massively screws up the start more than you ever could imagine, and he's on one of those 5 inside gates, he can just poodle around the inside. And there you go, comes out top 5. I believe if he starts there, he's got the pace to do it. Do it meaning stay in that group. Maybe he drops to 7th, 8th, but that's still there or thereabouts. And then I think the light switch goes off, and that's it from here on. But you just need something to kickstart that process, I guess.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the track that could do it purely because of how much the start favours the inside.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. What happened to Lagenfelder?
For some reason, I knew you were going to say that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
And one that I can find the answer to for you, if you give me a second.
That'd be great. Thank you. It's just that obviously we were raving about him on last week's show, and Neil Poix.
Please hold. Oh, interesting, actually. On the Lagenfelder point,
yeah,
Jeremy Sado didn't race because he vaguely has been ill or something since Valkenswaard and hasn't got any bike time. He spent like a week on the bike before Latvia, so didn't bother coming.
Wow.
And no details, but I wonder if it's an Epstein-Barr thing, because definitely doesn't sound like a broken bone or anything of that. Definitely sounds like an illness.
Not COVID.
Oh, no, let's not go there. But just, it was oddly vague. Like, and even in the gas report, it didn't even say anything. But,
be good for you to do some digging.
Well, I don't really know what happened to Lagenfelder. He hasn't said much.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, he crashed a couple of times in the first race, and then he just says that he got a great start in race 2, ran 9th for a lot of the moto, then 10th for a few laps, and then towards the end of the race, he had some problems and then did the race 21st. Maybe he needs more Lagenfelders.
Maybe.
It
might help.
It turns out that Lagenfelder is spelt wrong on live timing, and equally on the results.
Really? Have you pointed this out?
No, I randomly spotted it because I've always, from the very first time I've seen his name, I've spelt it going off of the results. And then randomly, I just noticed that him on his Instagram, it's spelt completely differently.
Maybe, unless he spelled his name wrong.
I doubt that very much, but insight for you
there. Okay.
Going back to Olsen, I explained my theory to him after the race of, this isn't such a big deal as long as you keep doing 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. That should be fine because other people will, the Vials and the Gerts of the world will give you an opportunity to claw back points at some point. He was kind of not having it.
In what way?
In that I was the one being positive. He was the one going, no, it's going to be tough now. And to be fair, I think he's 61 points down, which again is a lot after 3 races.
Yeah, that is a lot.
But I still think if he was going up against Prado, or if he's going up against Jonas, or any of those guys he's gone up against previously, it would be lights out. But I still think that you always have hope that your Vials, your Gertz, these guys are going to have one of those rounds where they just give up a ton of points.
Yeah, but I can't see them giving up. I can see them giving up 25, but definitely not 50.
But all you got to give up 25, and suddenly that 61 is a lower number. It's 61 minus 25 is 36.
Yes, well done, Lewis.
36?
Yes, well done.
Yeah, and 36 seems completely doable. If he was 36 points behind right now, I'd be like, fair dues, that's nothing. You can claw that back. So I don't think hope is lost at all.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to discuss about MX2 before we move on to questions?
Jed Beaton lost a tooth.
Did he find it?
I didn't even know that there were rocks in Keggums. Neither did he. But apparently, the one that there is out there struck him.
Claimed the victim.
He's chipped 2 teeth. And then weirdly, couldn't figure out in the post-race podcast why he had swallowed so much sand that day. And I pointed out that it's because there's a hole in his teeth. Well, I don't know why
it was his teeth. Who knows?
Nathan Crawford impressed me again.
That's great. Well done, Nathan.
Seems like you're very much on the MXGP rookie streak of one good moto, one bad, but his good motos are pretty solid. Enough to the point where I would say he definitely gets another shot. Bailey Malkowicz or Mike Wazowski, on the other hand.
Yeah.
Feel like he needs to show something. Because all I've seen out of him is him riding past pit lane clutching his stomach for some reason. And we've all been there. We've all been there where you ride past whoever's there for you and you want to immediately make it very clear that you've got a problem. So you're very much oh, my stomach. We've all been there. Bas Vassen's got a back problem, he's jarred it or something.
Yeah. And
quite painful. So nothing, again, not like an injury, but, everyone gets a sore back. He's dealing with that at the moment. That's a bit painful. You bet me 50 quid that Cyril Gano is going to finish top 10 in a moto, and I'm safe so far. But a 12th is a bit closer than I like.
Yeah, I was going to say there were some moments when he was running top 10 as well, and I was looking at that £50 thinking, what should I spend it on?
Stefan, even French, Rubini.
Yep.
I expect more. I think he can be good. He's never really shown it in MX2, but I think he can be. 17th overall is not good at all. Morgan Lesiardo, still the most unlikely EMX 250 champion ever.
Here's a question for you. Where do you think Rubini would be if he was in Vial's on Vial's ride? If he had that Red Bull KTM bike, where do you think Rubini would be now?
Not top 10, not top 3 like you're trying to say.
But you think he'd probably be, what, top 5?
No, top 10.
Okay.
And I think he can be top 10 anyway.
Okay.
Kevin Hawkmo dislocated his shoulder.
Oh, damn.
I believe.
Damn. He's
having a rough go.
Was that something like the first lap or something like that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Oh, yeah, he crashed in the first turn. Dislocated his shoulder. So he's got nothing to show for his first year in MX2. And I hope a good team, whether it's his current team or another one, gives him a good shot for next year, because I do genuinely believe he can be good.
Yeah.
It's just,
I agree.
I don't know.
I've seen too much to see how good he can be.
I don't understand how it can go so poorly this year, because it was better than this when he randomly appeared in MX2 last year.
So before we get to the second Latvian race, we've got so far Sean Simpson, who's definitely out, and I'm guessing Horigmo is going to be out.
You'd think so.
Yeah. Okay. Any other riders?
No, that's it.
That's it. So we possibly definitely one's gone home. Could be possibly 2. I can't see him wanting to ride with a dislocated shoulder 3 days later, can you?
No, you'd think that would be a not a wise move.
No. Okay. Are we happy? You happy to leave it there? I think we should. Let's move on.
Vial would be my win. Would be my pick to win again on Wednesday.
Okay. Do you want to do a top 3 Wednesday?
Oh, I don't know if I can do top 3. That's quite difficult.
What?
Fernandez takes all 3 spots on the podium.
You're a dick. Are we doing predictions or not doing predictions?
I'll go Vial, Gertz, Watson.
Okay. I'm gonna go Gertz, Vial, and Van Moosdijk.
It's very safe of you.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen. Cool. Right.
I hope we see a swing because these MX2 stand-ins are starting to be a bit
boring.
Not as close as you would want 3 rounds in.
Especially when we've seen, especially when we were talking about how this is going to be so open because people are going to take points from people.
Here you go, actually. The whole consistency thing of MX2.
The what, sorry?
We have only had the whole consistency thing of MX2. Sorry. We have only had 6 motos. That's it. Fuck all, really.
No, could you stop swearing?
Sorry. We have had 6 motos. Not much, really. Only 1 rider has finished in the top 10 in every single moto.
And who's that, Vial?
Yes, well done. Great work. The one with the red plate would probably have that.
Okay, well, maybe I should get a point for that.
If you want to compare that to last year at this stage, 3 rounds in, Olsen had been in the top 10 every round. Blandrin has been in the top 10 every round. Jacoby had been in the top 10 every round. Watson had been in the top 10 every round. And that's it. But still, that's 3 more riders than there was last year.
Okay, well, thanks for that stat boy. Right. If you're done with that, I would like to move on.
Yeah, you want to go home, didn't you?
I do. And the people are getting bored of this. They just want to know what the questions are.
Well, everyone will listen on the archive. No one's going to listen to the whole thing live. It's an archive thing.
Well, okay. Well, we're there. We're at Liat Ask Vice Anything. Did you know that the Liat neck brace is proven to reduce the risk of serious injury by up to 47%? Did you know that it's highly adjustable to fit riders of all levels? Redefine your limits with confidence and choose Liat, the sponsors of this Ask Vice Anything segment. So, Lewis, are you ready?
I'm ready.
At Phil Mallins, Conrad Muse had a day off. Do you know the reason? Sorry, not a day off, an off day.
I was going to say that's a weird way to say it.
I think he probably would have took a day off rather than do that, but he definitely had an off day. Do you know the reason?
We discussed that. We discussed it. I broke it down.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Lewis has already discussed it, and there we have it. At David Watts, 8. Any news on Sean Simpson? Hope there were no injuries after his crash.
Discuss that too. Maybe we should do the questions at the beginning of the show.
Well, when was that? When Simpson announced? Was that today?
An hour before we went live, I put it on MX5. It was first on MX5.
Okay. Cool. At Little Chris Cam, thoughts on Coldenhoff. Personally, he seems to be in the same kind of zone as he was towards the end of last season. Lewis, would you like to talk us through this? Oh, okay.
He's in a different zone. This is better than that. Come on. Let's not compare his win in Imola to the win on Sunday. He went up against half the competition. It was a very different situation. This was a flat-out, straight-up win. No question about it. This was a very different win. This is like a new Coldenhoff. That was an old Coldenhoff.
Okay.
My thoughts, though, are that... I shouldn't say it. Wait.
Oh, no, you should. You should.
Sorry about that.
Don't pause. Just carry on.
Oh, no, I sneezed.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Is that cocaine?
It's stupid. It's a stupid thing to say.
Go on, just say it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it, actually. No, I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't win again this year, but I think he gets one more.
I could just feel the abuse coming.
One more's fine. One more is fine. He'll get one more.
Okay. At Weekend Warrior Blog, what were your thoughts on the EMX Open? The lap times were pretty impressive when comparing MXGP, even taking into account the track degradation for the Sunday.
Well, big words for you there.
Well, thank you very much, Weekend Warrior Blog, for that one.
I don't really know about EMX Open tomorrow. Tomorrow? I don't really know about EMX Open.
You're probably not going to know about tomorrow because it's not happened yet.
Yeah. It's the whole back-to-back races within a couple of days is not doing my brain a lot of favors, to be honest.
I'm guessing the track changed considerably from one day to the next.
No, the lap times are irrelevant. Like, forget that. I don't know what I think about the class because at one point I was like, I don't get it. I don't get the point of this. I don't understand. Blah. But then I was like, well, it's the MX3 class essentially, and we all liked MX3. No one had a problem with it. I just think it's got to be marketed the correct way. I don't think you can just call it an EMX Open class and leave it be.
No.
I think you need to market it as the MXGP support class.
Yeah, MXGP2.
These are the guys who, I don't even know how you'd say that. These are the guys who want to be an MXGP, but aren't quite there yet, but maybe they'll prove themselves. But then I don't know, because that's what you'd say EMX 250's at. But it is kind of like that, but in a different way, because if you're, well, this is a perfect example. If I'm Dylan Walsh, I'm Brent Van Donnick, I'm trying to think of other British riders that would quite like an MXGP ride. For argument's sake, your Mel Pocock's, people like that. If I'm looking to get a 450 ride in GPs, I would go to EMX Open and prove myself. That would be where I'd prove myself. So in a way, it is very much like an EMX 250 class, but for 450 riders.
Yeah, I like your idea about that class needs to be marketed by Infront as in MXGP2. You know, it is a step. It is the step up, or it's a class where they could possibly try out what future riders are going to be like on a 450.
It's like basically you come out of the MX 250, and if you're lucky, someone pulls back the red velvet rope, and you get welcomed into the MXGP class, or otherwise you get directed to the cloakroom, where you have to wait your turn.
Yeah, I kind of
cloakroom being EMX Open.
The one thing which I'm a bit disappointed on, and maybe because of COVID and it being in Latvia and stuff like that, was I didn't think the class, and this is not being disrespectful to the riders, but I didn't think the class was as strong as it could be. And the reason why I say that is I fully expected a lot of people who didn't get a 450 ride in GPs to use that as a bit of a stepping stone. And we didn't seem to have it, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because, and maybe it's because that promotion of that of that class isn't as good as it could be.
No, because I think it would be a very different class in Germany, France, Britain, because I think then the amount of wild cards who would give it a go would give it a very different feel. And the fact is, actually, to your Latvian, Estonian, Swedish, your Baltic fans, that class probably has worked for them because those are all riders they know of and they want to see an MXGP.
True.
But don't get a chance. But to us in mainland Europe, that doesn't work for us because we have a disconnect of knowing who the hell these people are. Whereas for those riders, for those fans, we were at Matley this weekend and they were looking at EMX Open, and it was your Jake Millwoods, your Jake Shiptons, your Ryan Houghtons, they would look at that and be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
So I think it's very much a country by country thing.
Yeah.
I would almost say it doesn't need to be a championship. I would almost say the class would work better if it actually wasn't a championship and it was just a round by round thing where this weekend we've got an EMX Open class, come and prove yourself.
Oh, can we put some money in there as well?
I don't get that. I don't get what you're trying to say.
Prize money.
Do you know what I think? Because if you got, I don't know, I think that would that way it would then become what almost it's. But then again, I'm looking at it from that direction. If it's meant to be an MX3 championship, which it kind of is as well. Like, this is what I mean. I'm not sure how to think of it. I'm not sure whether to look at it as this place where you show up when it's close to you and try to prove yourself, or it's your place for your Martin Micheks and people like that, who in reality are never going to get back in MXGP, but just need a place to ride for the next 5 years because they know they still want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect class for the people who have aged out of MX2 and are not quite ready to go MXGP.
But that's what I mean. That's great, but then equally, it's like the MX3 class and a place for old riders to go because they can't be in MXGP anymore. Like, there's no way to police that, but it's kind of like a bit of both, and I think that's where the confusion comes from.
Okay. Right, let's move on.
It is actually a really interesting one, though, to think about.
No, it is.
Because there's no answer.
No, again, what are the reasons for the class in the first place? At Ryan G437,
okay,
we've moved on.
Not talking about EMX Open anymore.
Hurlins didn't seem at his best this weekend. Is this a result of his concussion or just lack of gate drops? Do you think we'll see more of the same again in the next two races?
I don't want to go concussion just purely because he was so good at Axel. I would just go lack of gate drops, bad starts. Had he started top three, maybe he would have gone 1-1 and this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Okay.
But then equally, you can't talk about Hurlins that way because we all expect him to come through the field no matter what.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a case of he's victim of high expectations.
And we're going to get these results.
The fact is, we're all going mental for Coldenhoff, going 2-1 like it's the best thing ever. If Hurlings had gone 2-1, we'd still be talking about like, oh, I wonder, that's odd.
What, he didn't win?
It's all a victim of circumstance.
Okay. At Tom Neal 19, what the hell?
I'd just like to say, pat myself on the back. I feel like I'm making some great points in these questions.
Yeah, I know you're one to pat yourself on the back.
Well, I feel like I've suffered a lot this show. So
you haven't suffered. You basically, for the first time in your life, you've just admitted you're wrong. It's a massive achievement.
In this Liat segment, I feel like I'm doing quite well. By the way, congrats to Liat on their double podium and moto win at the weekend. That's actually quite an achievement for for one brand to have two riders on the podium and then another rider win a moto who wasn't even one of the two riders on the podium.
There we go.
That's quite that kind of proves you've got a stacked lineup.
There we go.
There you go.
I'm glad you got that off your chest. At Tom Neal 19, what the hell has Fernandez been taking over the break? Do we see the we can work with speed concept play out, putting him with a shot on a factory team for next year? We've kind of alluded to that point already.
I don't know. Maybe I'm off on this completely because I'm not even convinced. But I almost feel like the whole we can work with speed thing doesn't exist in Europe as much as it does in America. Like Vial going to Red Bull KTM. I don't think that was ever a we can work with speed thing. That was kind of a let's see what we can do with. Like, I can't really think of a example of someone busting out the odd fast lap and like showing insane speed and then someone hiring them on. I guess in a way you could say F&H signing Harrop was that because he had insane speed at times and just couldn't put it together. And then I guess F&H thought with Deruva and that they could kind of polish him a little bit. But then even so, I feel like Harrop was always way more proven than Fernandez was, and like he was always going to get on the team because he was tipped as this next great rider. Like I don't know if this we work with speed thing is as much of a thing in Europe, but it should be.
Yeah,
equally, I don't think Fernandez gets a ride.
Yeah, hopefully there's somebody out there which is kind of looking at him going, okay, let's see what he can do over the next couple of rounds, and we should be talking to him.
The thing is, we're all caught up in the moment. We're racing again on Wednesday. If he goes 19-19, no one talks about him again.
No. No, that
we're
is
all caught up in the moment right now.
You're only as good as your last race.
Like if Fernandez suddenly goes 19-19, 18-17 over the next 2 Latvian GPs, how much do you want to bet I bring up his name in the podcast next week and James goes, who?
Yeah, it's not going to happen. At Simon Finn, is Vlaanderen the only Gebbon Yamaha rider that got to switch from Solva to KYB, or are Lupino and Covington stuck with Solva suspension? Do you know about this?
Lupino is Solva suspension, and he was in the Kawasaki days, so he's obviously happy with it.
Yep.
Vlaanderen is KYB with technical touch, and Covington isn't Solva. 100%. Covington isn't Solva. But
we don't know what he is.
No, because he doesn't have any stickers on his forks. And I think they might be like just stock forks with a bit of work done on them.
Okay.
Because I think that's what he liked, I heard. But he's definitely off Solva, and he had Solva on his bike at Matterley.
Well, if you could find that out for Simon, that would be much appreciated on Wednesday.
There's just no stickers on his forks, which is odd because Vlaanderen's now got KYB stickers all the way up them.
Okay.
And when Strybos switched from K-Tech to KYB last year, he had KYB stickers. Like, it's odd to just have no stickers there.
Yeah.
But I did hear that they were just stock forks with a bit of work done on them because that was what Covington liked, but I may be way off on that.
Okay. At Kyle 16...
Covington is definitely off Solva, and Lupino is stuck with Solva, but not because he hates Solva. Lupino's quite happy with it. Apparently, they managed to solve the situation for him.
That is absolutely terrible.
I know, but it's funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah, because it's terrible, it's funny.
Okay. At Kyle 16 Richards, Dessau appeared to fall backwards quite quickly in both motos. Are there any injury or fitness issues there?
No injuries, no fitness issues, but I do think that maybe you're seeing the result of not doing any pre-season races.
Okay, so he's kind of, I hate to say it, lacking the intensity like the others have because they have been racing.
Well, if you look at it, another quite interesting one to look at, every single one of your top 6 Latvia pre-season race.
So he's suffering from 154 days of not racing.
Then again, Prado didn't, and he was 7th overall, and he's further from 100% than Dessau is. So maybe that excuse has no validity.
Okay. At SSRDERS, will you be...
We're just spelling the names now.
Well, would you like me to say at SSRDERS?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
whatever.
what it's written as.
Will you be updating the MX Manager T&C as prizes, as obviously a lot has changed, i.e. cancelled MXN, which was the first prize? Good question.
Yeah, we are in the middle of doing that. We kind of got the list sorted, but we don't want to release the list until it's all the I's are crossed. Like, you wouldn't cross your I's, would you? Or until all the I's are dotted and your T's are crossed.
Yeah.
But the KTM 125 is still in there. The Nations tickets are obviously out on account of there being no Nations, but we might be able to switch that to 2021 Nations tickets, which I think would actually be better, because then if you win MX Manager this year, you've actually got a year to plan your trip, knowing you've got these VIP tickets. But yeah, it's all being sorted out. It's an absolute nightmare. Just another one of these COVID things that's shit to sort out. Yeah, it's all fine.
We're going to get we'll release a list of all the prizes. We've obviously had to speak to each brand and each company, everybody who's kind of come to us with obviously prizes, make sure they're happy. So that's going to be this week, isn't it? That's going to be released.
It'll be this week or next week. We're just waiting on replies, and we can't speed up the reply.
No, it is what it is, unfortunately. But thank you for that.
James doesn't know because he's not involved in MX5.
No, I just see whatever's in the communication channel, and I kind of keep up to date with it all. Yeah. But obviously, as someone who is in the running for some of these prizes, I'm very keen to find out.
But then again, I requested that you not be on the video for the podcast tonight, and yet you are. So,
well, I just needed to get some screen time.
It's all about you just attention whore, isn't you?
Well, no, it's just obviously as being a factory representative for Kawasaki, it's good for me to talk about my adventures on a KXF 250. So it was great to get at, obviously the bar drags at Marshfield.
If I managed to pull some strings and get you an entry for EMX Open, would you do it?
What track?
I don't know, but you'd probably actually get black flagged, I'd imagine, for being a hazard.
I don't know, or a legend. Can you get a flag for being a legend?
I imagine it would be one of those things that would be a great idea until you do 2 corners and then I'm stood in pit lane going, oh my God, this was a terrible idea.
Yeah, but that's all I'd do. I'd do 2 corners and then just like give it the hand across the throat. We're done. We're done. The bike needs a 290cc engine in. Right, let's stop dreaming. At Phil EM68, what changes to the track have been made, if any?
I said this, but I don't think there will really be anything for tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. Jesus, what day is it?
It's Monday's day.
God. We're only one day into this triple header, and I'm genuinely on the verge of a breakdown. Send help. What was the question?
It was, what changes to the track have been made, if any?
Yeah. I don't think there will be anything. Actually, tomorrow does work. It's the MX race tomorrow. Look at that. I am on track. I don't think there will be any real changes for tomorrow, but apparently for Saturday and Sunday, Jesus Christ, there will be 2 or 3 turns that are changed, but that won't be like rerouting the track. That'll just, I imagine, they'll put an inside berm in, they'll put a jump on the inside, they'll do something along those lines just to open it up a bit more and change things. Okay. James, would you like to say the next question and then I'll carry it for you?
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. Yeah, well, actually, I'm not in Latvia, so I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm in the UK, so I have no idea what track changes are going on, you idiot.
To be fair, it's a bit...
And actually, speaking of our next question, which actually comes in just the perfect timing, at Kelton Guyver, can we stop James abuse? Amen.
Do you not want to read the rest of his question?
Yeah, I know it's funny that he doesn't know much about MX, but still, hashtag stops James abuse 2020. Thanks, Kelton.
So he's just completely backhanded you there, isn't he? Can we stop James abuse? And then abused you in the very next sentence. I know it's funny how much he doesn't know about motocross.
But he's just talking about how much I don't know about MXGP stats. He's not saying about my riding style. He's not saying about the way I ride.
No, he doesn't mention MXGP at all. His exact words are, I know it's funny, but he doesn't know much about MX.
Yeah. MX. He just forgot to put GP on the end.
He's raised you up on his shoulders.
I think what you need to focus on...
Oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. And he's just dropped you.
I think what you need to focus on is the first part, which basically says, can we stop James abuse?
This actually hurts me a little bit because you abuse me way more.
That sounds a bit wrong.
Can we stop the Lewis abuse maybe? Or does no one care?
What Lewis abuse is that?
You always come out with shit.
No, I don't. Yes, when was the last time I called you gay? Ages ago.
Funny.
Right, okay, let's move on.
We're not stopping the James abuse, because if we stop the James abuse, what is the point in him being here?
Such a dick. At MX Quantum, do you think Glenn could contend every race and contest Jeffrey and Tim? Oh, great question. What do you think, Lewis?
No.
Okay.
It's one race.
Okay.
Let's see what he does. You know what? If he does something good on Wednesday, I might change my opinion slightly. I'm not changing my opinion on one race because you want to know what?
What?
Funnily enough, we're 3 rounds in and he's 27 points down.
Okay.
So if we continue on this trend, which includes a GP win, then in 3 rounds' time, he'll have 2 GP wins to his name this year, but equally be 54 points then.
Do you know what? I'm just glad Glenn doesn't use this, listen to this podcast, because he probably won't even get out of bed tomorrow after he's listened to you.
It has been said, but I inspired him on Sunday. To be honest, I struggle to disagree with that.
You inspired him.
Mm.
Yeah. Here we go. Mike Hunt. Is Mathis Bouarami underestimated?
Is Mathis Bouarami? Christ. He's underrated by me.
Well, not by me. I'm a big fan. No, he's a good rider.
Really?
Yeah.
You never mention him or tip him to do anything?
Absolutely. He's a great rider.
No, Bouarami, I massively underrate him. I don't know why. Maybe it's because this is only his second podium. So, like, as we know, I like to see things before I run off.
Yeah, you like to get cert, don't you? So before you're wrong, you need to get evidence. You need to get your stats package.
I need to see, but then again, this is only his second podium. So what is underrated? But no, he's better than I give him credit for, and I think people in general. But you want to know why he's underrated?
Why is that?
He doesn't update his Instagram.
So basically, because of his Instagram, this is why he's underrated.
Well, no, because he's not in the public eye. No one even notices. Like, if I pull up his Instagram now, and to be fair, I feel like someone must have given him a kick up
you are
the
the
arse
biggest
because he's done stuff
Instagram
recently.
critic I know. First, you were on Gertz's case. Now you're on Bouarami's case.
This isn't a content problem.
Jesus Christ, do you do anything other than be on Instagram?
To be fair, he posted 7 times in July, so he got better. However, before July, he didn't. He posted on the 26th of August 2019, him sat on the start line with a Honda, presuming he was at a race. And then next time we see him, it's the 1st of November 2019 with a Kawasaki. It's like, what happened in those 3 months? The colour of your bike has changed.
I think this is your answer, and where you're going with this is a really good example of your expectations of people. So thank you, Mike Hunt, for pointing that out. I'm not talking about me personally, but I think that for general fans underrating him, I feel like if they saw him more on social media and whatnot, then he would be more on people's minds, therefore more talked about, therefore not underrated. I think it all trickles. Okay, well, thanks for that insight. Last question, thank God, and then we can all go home. Thomas Richter, dear Lewis, is Coldenhoff's win finally enough to stop you from calling him an opportunist? Great question, Thomas.
Now, this actually wasn't a question. This was one of the DMs I got. Just to give you an idea of how my life is looking at the moment.
If anybody wants to bench race, give Lewis abuse, just please go forward. He absolutely loves getting a good message. Is this going to stop you from calling him an opportunist?
I forgot to mention this in my defence earlier. So anyone who makes it to the end of the show, you get my actual defence right now.
Okay,
I called him an opportunist.
2 of 27?
I called him I'm sorry, if you were stood up in court and someone was giving a defence, would you talk over?
Yeah, object.
I call Coldenhoff an opportunist.
Object.
Correct?
Yeah, you called Coldenhoff.
You agree with that?
You called Coldenhoff an opportunist. This is what the question's about, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I know what the question's about. Just bear with me here.
I'm actually bored because I'm doodling. I'm sat here with a pen doodling. You're boring me.
I call Coldenhoff an opportunist, correct?
Yeah.
I also said earlier that he does not normally get starts like this. Correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, brilliant. Because he doesn't. I don't think we normally look at him like that. By taking advantage of these good starts that he suddenly got in Latvia, was he or was he not being an opportunist?
No. No.
The defence rests.
No.
The defence rests.
Stick defence at your ass. No one cares. Thanks, Thomas, for
The
bringing
funny
that one
thing
up.
is, I think I would just literally.
I would
off
like
the
to
jury-
thank Fly Racing, Talon Engineering, Liat,
Oh my God,
Planet Motor Holidays,
unbelievably.
Yoko Europe, Prox Racing Parts, Technical Touch, Hinson KYB, Kawasaki UK, 7 and Even Strokes for their continued support. That was...
Unbelievably,
Oh,
this
Jesus
never
Christ,
happens.
it's still going. What?
Unbelievably, this never happens. But I've just given my defence, and someone in the jury, one person is on their hands, on their feet, on their hands, ought to be doing a handstand in the jury. Not sure what that's about.
I don't even know where you're
Ignore
going.
him.
This is what happens when you
I've just
spend
given my
too much
defence.
time on your own in a hotel room.
I've just given my defence. One person in the jury is on their feet, giving me a round of applause, and there's a woman there with tears in her eyes. That's how much my defence just fucking rocked the world.
If there's
I
a
reckon
woman
I'm
there
off.
with tears in her eyes, that's for another reason. That was Leah Ask Vice Anything. Thank you very much for your questions this week. Lewis, good luck on Wednesday with the GP. Are you looking forward to it?
Thanks. I'm not competing, but I appreciate you. Good luck.
Yeah, well, sometimes we feel like you are. Have a great evening in your hotel room. And don't spend too much on the minibar.
I'd just like to say, I wish I'd said that part about him being an opportunist by taking advantage of this good start at the
give
beginning
it a
of the
rest,
show,
will you?
because that was a great point by myself.
Right.
Equally, thanks for sticking around. I can tell that you're eager to go home by the way that
We're all
hastiness you
eager.
made the show.
Anybody's listening to this, they're not listening because they would have switched off about 20 minutes ago with you just talking, still talking shit and trying to backtrack from you being wrong. Okay.
I think
Brilliant.
the point stands.
No one
you
cares.
Actually never disagreed.
No one cares. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening this week. We will be back. When are we back, Lewis?
Next. Well, we never said, but the only reason we're doing Monday now is because obviously the GP starts tomorrow, so we didn't really have a choice. But I don't know. I guess we're going to be live every week from now on. Are we Wednesday night live or Tuesday night live? I think we should change our schedule and become a Tuesday night live show.
Why not? I'll just tell my wife not to cook anymore on a Tuesday because Lewis has just changed his mind. Great. We will be back some point in the future. Thanks for listening and see you guys next week.
You are listening to the MX Vice Show.
Even Strokes is the newest e-commerce store in motocross. Built by motocross enthusiasts, Even Strokes understands your need and offers all of the products you need for a weekend at the track. Shop now for Yoko, Alpine Stars, Fast House, and more at evenstrokes.com.
Hinson is the world-leading manufacturer of clutch baskets, clutch covers, clutch discs, and springs for both dirt bikes and quads. Hinson products are used by many leading riders like HRC Honda, Monster Energy Kawasaki, KTM Factory Racing, and Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing. Shop for Hinson products at technical-touch.com.
Talon wheels have been iconic in the industry for over 30 years. Designed, built, and manufactured in the UK. Talon wheels, sprockets, and footrests, and clutch baskets are used by professional riders like Jason Anderson, Zach Osborne, and Sean Simpson. Head over to www.talon-eng.co.uk for more info.
Liat, protecting riders from head to toe. Check out liat.com for more.
Technical Touch have been supplying KYB OEM spare parts and factory kit suspension in Europe for decades. Many of the riders you see on track in the FIM Motocross World Championship are using KYB suspension from Technical Touch. Whether you are looking for factory kit suspension or KYB spare parts and oils, they have you covered. Shop now at www.technical-touch.com.
Yoko have returned to top flight motocross with a bang. The Yoko Vili collection is made with racing in mind and designed to be the lightest and most flexible motocross gear on the market. Go to yokoeurope.com to locate your nearest dealer or shop online.
The MX Vice Show.